Good evening, I'm Alex Crook. You are listening to Talksport 2, and we are with Manchester United as they bid to seal a place in the last 16 of the Europa League. The fallen Premier League giants have become a bit of a Frankenstein's monster, so it's fitting in many ways. They're in the home of Dracula, looking to spark a rebirth under Ruben Amorim. And after a tough start to his tenure and a difficult past decade since the Fergie glory days, just maybe they're starting to awaken from their horror show.
They look a bit ragged to me, Manchester United.
To a man, they're just rubbish. This is the worst Manchester United team in a generation.
I don't know what Ruben Amorim's thinking about this Manchester United squad that he's walked into, but I'm sure he knows everything about them right now, and he knows there's a lot of work to be done.
United desperately needing some kind of spark, some kind of inspiration.
I mean, the bottom line is that I think Ruben Amorim is the kind of manager that will say, right, I'm not hanging about. You're going to be out the door if you don't work for me.
And I know we can succeed, but we need to survive this moment because I'm not naive. We are being the worst team, maybe, in history of Manchester United.
They've got some good young players. You know, there's still so much missing in this Man United team.
Martinez playing it in. Oh, it's the winner for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes stepping up just when his side needed it.
I think there's a real argument to say this is the best that Manchester United have played under Ruben Amorim.
Job is pretty much done. They've certainly given themselves a great chance of a top 8 finish to qualify for the round of 16.
I'll tell you what, I'm seeing a passion and energy about Manchester United that I've not seen for a long time. They are all flying into the tackles.
For a number of reasons, this competition needs to be an objective for Manchester United this season.
There's something in this for United if they can take a bit of care and find something again.
Yes, it's a massive night for Manchester United as they take on FCSB, formerly Steaua Bucharest. They begin the night in 4th place in the Europa League table, knowing a victory will see them safely through to the round of 16 without an unwanted two-legged playoff. Let's get straight to your team news. Ruben Amorim makes no fewer than 5 changes from the side that ground out that 1-0 victory in the Premier League at Fulham on Sunday. Maguire, Ahmad, Ugarte, Garnacho, who's been unwell, and the goalkeeper Onana all rested to the bench. So Bayinda starts between the posts. It's Mazraoui, De Ligt and Martinez in the back three. Dalot moves across to right wing back. Malacia is the left wing back. Eriksson and young Toby Collier are the deepest of the midfielders, with Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainoo in the 2 number 10 roles behind Rasmus Højlund in attack. Leanne Sanderson is alongside me. 5 changes, Leanne. It looks a strong Manchester United squad, though. They should have enough to get the job done.
I'd say so. I mean, you look at this team that he's put out tonight, there's a lot of players like Kobe Mainoo. I'm looking forward to watching him play because it's been indifferent since Ruben Amorim's come in. He hasn't really been in his starting 11. I think you look at this back three, I'd expected maybe get Lenny Yoro to start in there, maybe Harry Maguire, Mazraoui being in there. Interesting. I think he's been a great signing for us. I think Malacia starting is an interesting one for me, Crookie, because I know there's been a lot of rumours about him potentially moving on, and he hasn't really been good since he's come in from Ajax. I know he was a signing from Erik ten Hag, but I think one player, Rasmus Højlund, really struggles in the Premier League, but in this competition he's joined top goal scorers. So we know this team, FCSB, they like to break things up. They make a lot of fouls. They like to get stuck in. So Manchester United are going to have to turn up in this game tonight, similarly to how they turned up against Arsenal, ready for the fight, because this team have a lot to play for as well.
And a big night for Rasmus Højlund in particular. Got a lot of stick for his performance against Fulham on Sunday. No goals in his last 11 in the Premier League. Only 2 league goals, in fact, all season. But he has been in good goal-scoring form in this competition. What is it about European football that maybe brings the best out of Rasmus Højlund?
I don't mean to be ruthless, but I think potentially a weaker opposition. I think that's the reality. I think Rasmus Højlund, when he's come in, it's a massive price tag that he came in for, almost 70 million. I don't think anybody else was in a position where they wanted to even offer that. But I've been told that he's fast and he's quick. I don't see that, Crookie. I don't really see that when he's playing. I think you look at someone like Gabriel Jesus last season, was criticised for not scoring a lot of goals, but he was still putting himself about, getting stuck in and was creating things. Rasmus Højlund doesn't hold on to the ball. Similar to Romelu Lukaku when he was at Manchester United. It's not all about hold-up play, but to me, he offers nothing. And I think when Joshua Zirkzee came on against Arsenal, even though I don't think he's at that level that needs to lead the line, at least he offers something. And I don't want to, Rasmus Højlund is still young, but I still think us Man United fans, we can see a player, can't we? And you can see right now that he's not performing to the levels he can in the Premier League. And I think due to the fact it's a lesser opposition in the Europa League, and that's the reality. But hopefully he can take a lot of confidence for this and potentially get on the score sheet, at the weekend against Palace, start to kick on.
Joshua Zirkzee is amongst the subs tonight. Quite a strong subs bench actually for Manchester United, as I mentioned already. Garnacho, Amad Diallo, who's been in such brilliant form, Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire, all available, Ugarte and Casemiro as well. Should Ruben Amorim need them? We are hurtling towards kickoff here on Talksport 2. Don't forget, over on Talksport at the same time as this game, we have Tottenham against Elfsborg. Spurs in 6th place at the start of the night, also looking to book their place in the round of 16. We will of course keep you updated with the goals as they go in elsewhere, but for now let's get the latest odds from William Hill.
In the Zone on Talksport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
And delighted to say Lee Phelps joins us now. Lee, I've just checked out the odds. Manchester United are the odds-on favourites, but maybe not quite as short in the betting as we would expect.
Well, I mean, I'm not tempted to back Man United at odds on at all at the moment. I know you guys have been talking, we're listening to you on Talksport and just now as well. And look, there's an air of optimism about you, which is absolutely fair enough. But I just think away from home, making changes against a team, look, I know that the Superliga in Romania isn't the Premier League, but they are joint top on points. They are full of confidence, and they are at home. So I think 4-1 looks pretty big to me. The draw might be the bet though, 14-5. I think a draw might just do both of them in the end, but all to play for still. There's a couple of interesting bets around the whole night tonight. Obviously, it's a fantastic night for an ACCA if you're into that. 18 matches, of course. Got the ACCA winnings boost, 4 or more picks, 3-1 or bigger, with a £20 max stake, and there's a few cross-match specials on goals and corners and cards. I've put a bet builder together on this game. I don't really want to call the match, to be honest, so I've gone with a couple of cards and a couple of players to have shots on target. The cards are for Joyce Dawa, 9 yellows across all competitions this season. As you said, they do like to foul, and the niggly fouls as well, so you can see a few yellows. And I'm going for Kobbie Mainoo to be carded as well, 7 yellows himself. And I mean, you're listening to you guys thinking he may well be pushed forward, but I think I'd rather back him to be carded than to score. As for the shots on target, up front for FCSB, Daniel Beligia, at least 1 shot on target. I'm going 12 goals for club and country this season, 3 in the Europa League. And Bruno Fernandes, he's been playing the captain's role recently. I'm going for him to have at least a shot on target as well. He averages 3 shots a game in the Europa. Those 4 come to 30-1 and up to just under 38-1 with your 25% boost on that. You need 3 picks, 3-1 or bigger, and it's a £20 max stake. And I think what might be interesting tonight is impact sub. So the player that you back goes off, the man coming on carries on your bets. If you're looking at Man United goal scorers or fouls or cards, as you've just said, it's a strong bench, and if he starts to make changes, they may well carry on your bet into the later stages of this match. So hopefully Man United can do it. I'm going for the draw though at 14-5.
Cheers, Lee. That odds update, all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus. Be gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on Talksport 2 with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Well, we are just awaiting the teams to make their way into the tunnel. A big travelling contingent of almost 3,000 Manchester United fans are in Romania tonight. Let's hear from their manager, Ruben Amorim. He's been speaking ahead of this match about the need for a complete performance from his side.
We are Manchester United and we are so low in the table. So anything can happen in football. We know that he is a strong team, can score a lot of goals from set pieces, can win difficult matches, sometimes without any so much possession. So he's a really smart team, and we have to perform well to win the game. Like I said, the first thing is to win the game. We need to see our players perform and to understand in each position they are better to play. So we have a lot to improve. We have to use every game, every training to see that.
Ruben Amorim there looking ahead to this game, FCSB against Manchester United. He says he's looking for a complete performance. first and foremost tonight is to get the result they need to get through, isn't it? Because with the squad so depleted and not many signings expected between now and 11 o'clock on Monday, they can't really afford to play 2 extra games in the playoff round.
Exactly, and I think that's massive within this, and I think most Manchester United fans are optimistic by this time next year Ruben Amorim will be able to bring in the players that he would like and hope. And I think Manchester United, this is their only hope into the Champions League, and the fact that the system has changed this year, where last year you see teams like Barcelona dropping down into Europa League and having to play against those types of teams. You look at the quality of teams, Lazio, Eintracht Frankfurt. I'd fancy Manchester United against teams like that, but I do think we can't be kind of those people that think just because an English team is in the competition we have a divine right to win it. And I think sometimes that does happen. We've seen Manchester United previously against Sevilla ends up losing, Villarreal ends up losing when Unai Emery was their coach. So I do think this is Manchester United's best way into the Champions League, and I think under Ruben Amorim it will make sense that he can bring in these players, because I think to myself in recent years, I'm like, what is the point in Manchester United qualifying for the Champions League because we don't have the squad that compete? Whereas I think I trust in what Ruben Amorim is doing, and I think he's maximising these players. I think over this time, it's the best I've seen, like Harry Maguire and De Ligt play during these moments. They weren't doing that under Eric Ten Hag. So I think Ruben is maximising these players, but still a massive overhaul is needed, Crookie.
And we were talking about this over on Talksport earlier, that the ongoing situation involving Marcus Rashford. Some very strong words again in the build-up to this game from Ruben Amorim, basically suggesting that Marcus Rashford's attitude and application in training doesn't warrant selection. Where does this end?
I think it ends with him leaving, but it doesn't look like it's going to be likely in this window. I mean, they're paying a player like 375 grand a week, but that's not Marcus Rashford's fault. That's down to the club making such poor decisions during those moments. You look at our wage bill, Crookie, it's unbelievable with players like Casemiro, Eriksen, those types of players. And I think it's a shame that I'll be gutted if Garnacho does end up leaving. I really will.
Well, you are listening to FCSB against Manchester United on Talksport 2, brought to you by TNT Sports, the home of European football, as Manchester United, looking resplendent, all in white, emerge from the tunnel below us. They are just lining up in front of that giant Europa League banner covering the centre circle. A reminder, 5 changes tonight from Ruben Amorim. Maguire, Ahmad, Ugarte, Garnacho and Onana all rested to the bench. It means Kobbie Mainoo, Toby Collier, Tyrell Malacia, Christian Eriksen, and the man who's becoming the cup goalkeeper, Altay Bayindir, come into the 11. The United line-up in full. Bayindir in goal, Mazraoui, De Ligt and Martinez in front of him. Dalot and Malacia, the wing-backs, with Eriksen and Collier in midfield, and Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo in behind, Rasmus Højlund up front. As for FCSB, well, they're without their top scorer, Darius Alaru, due to injury. They've got the very experienced Stefan Ternavanu in goal. It's a back 3 for the hosts of Popescu, Gazana and Dawa. Krato and Radonovic are the wing-backs, with Ejuma and Soot in midfield. And then their attack is Malescu on the left, Tanesi on the right, and Daniel Baligia, who scored 5 goals in 16 European appearances over the course of his career. As the central striker, the 2 sets of players just exchanging pre-match handshakes. Don't forget, Tottenham about to get underway against Elfsborg over on Talksport. A big night for Ange Postecoglou as well. Both Premier League sides in pole position to claim that much-needed place straight into the round of 16, but neither could afford any slip-ups. Manchester United looking to make it 3 successive victories, would you believe, for the first time since winning the FA Cup against Manchester City in May. And from a confidence perspective, Leanne, how important is it they back up that hard-fought 1-0 win at Fulham? Because the issue for a long time now with this team has been they take 1 step forward and then very quickly take a couple back.
Yeah, and I think it's a process, and I think we have to, as Manchester United fans, trust in that process of what Ruben Amorim is doing. I think you look at the beginning of this tournament, Manchester United in the first 3 games, they drew them, and everybody was thinking, what's going on here? Ruben's come in, he hasn't lost in this competition since he came in, and I think Manchester United seem to find really good form in the Europa League. Unlike the Premier League, they seem to beat Man City, Arsenal, and then they'll go and lose to Bournemouth, Wolves, those types of teams. And that's something I think Ruben Amorim will focus on, and he speaks a lot about being able to have the players longer periods of time for training. And I think due to the fact that if they were to win this game, they qualify for the round of 16, don't have those 2 extra games. I think Ruben Amorim will like that, based upon the fact that he'll get more time with the players, because he's focused on that quite a lot. People can say, oh, how much more time does he need? But he's only just got there. and he's having to kind of go and almost like perform surgeries during these moments.
Yeah, and actually, for all their domestic travails, and they're obviously in the lower half of the Premier League table, in Europe, still unbeaten, Manchester United. So he's going to want to keep that going tonight, Ruben Amorim, as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you look at this Manchester United squad, any Manchester United fan will know. And when Ruben Amorim said those comments about the worst Manchester United team ever, I think we all know that. So it didn't come as like a massive shock. I think a lot of media outlets were making the most of it, saying, I can't believe, some people saying, I can't believe he said that. I think we've all been crying out for a manager to say that, because I'm sick of managers coming out and saying, we're unlucky today, we fought hard in a game against Liverpool when you've been beaten 7-0. It's not good enough.
Well, we are just about ready for kick-off, actually a few seconds later than scheduled. Behind the goal that Manchester United are attacking, there's a giant banner of Steaua Bucharest European Cup winning goalkeeper Helmut Dekadam. There is still some discrepancy over whether FCSB are the former Steaua Bucharest. There's a club who've worked their way up from the lower divisions claiming that title as well. Either way, this is going to be a intimidating atmosphere as we get off and underway. Manchester United all in white, attacking that goal away to our right hand side. FCSB in blue shirts, red shorts and blue socks, attacking the goal away to the left. Manchester United in possession with Mazraoui, who's starting on the right of that back three tonight. De Ligt in the middle, Martinez on the left. That means Dallo on the ball now will operate down his preferred right hand side. He's played as the left wing back for the majority of Ruben Amorim's tenure. And here is the Argentine Martinez playing it forward to Mainu, who has indeed started in one of those advanced number 10 positions. Sliding in was Martinez, conceded to throw. Manchester United, Leanne, seeing plenty of the ball in the opening minute.
Yeah, I think so, and I mentioned it before. I'm not a massive statistician, Crookie, but I think when I saw this stat about FCSB having 105 fouls, 24 yellow cards and 2 reds during this competition, double what Manchester United have, I said this game will be quite choppy, and I think the last thing Manchester United will want to get into a battle. I think they need to let their football do the talking, keep the ball, pick their moments. Obviously Eriksen isn't at the levels he used to be at, but we saw the assist he got the other week was a fantastic type of ball, and I think getting into those areas, I think Collier's positioning tonight will be really important because he needs to be disciplined. But I think it shows Ruben Amorim really believes in him, putting him into these moments. Against Arsenal, he brought him on as well, and at the weekend he had that unbelievable clearance off the line.
And that was basically a match-winning intervention, and you could see what it meant as he was mobbed by his teammates. Collier, just 21 years of age, but certainly one of the beneficiaries in recent weeks since Amorim came in, and it's Collier who hoists the ball rather awkwardly back to Bayinda. His confidence should be sky high after the penalty heroics against Arsenal in the FA Cup third round, saving from Martin Ødegaard in normal time and then getting the crucial stop to deny Kai Havertz as United book their place in round 4. They'll play Leicester at home in the FA Cup, and with all their problems in the Premier League, the FA Cup and Europa League become that much more important. Realistically, the only way that Ruben Amorim will be managing in the Champions League next season is if they were to win this competition. 0-0 with 2.5 minutes gone, and it's Steaua Bucharest now attacking down the right-hand side with the Frenchman Adjuma. United dictating possession early on, and it's really the first time the home team have got a feel of the ball. It's going to be knocked out to the left wing back Radonovic. FCSB matching United system pretty much with the back three and 2 wing backs. Collier wins it back on halfway with that blonde hair. Doesn't keep it for very long though. And Collier, the sliding tackle up against the Steaua captain Suit. It's Mazraoui who has to play it back to Bayindir inside the penalty area. 4 minutes gone, 0-0 here. 0-0 over on Talksport as well, where they're just underway. Tottenham against Elfsborg.
I think if you look at this FCSB team as well, they come off of, they beat Rangers 4-0. Manchester United got a late winner last week with Bruno Fernandes scoring that incredible goal. But I think gone are the days when Manchester United can win a game based upon on paper. I think they have to show, they have to turn up. I think Manchester United within this matchup tonight, Cricket, need to be high pressing. I don't think they need to sit off of FCSB. I think they need to let their football do the talking, play through the lines, because we quite clearly know Ruben Amorim's style, and I think we talk about it a lot. the style he wants to play. But ultimately, the players just haven't been good enough over the years. To be at that standard of playing as a professional footballer, there's certain requirements. And when Ruud van Nistelrooy was the interim coach, he spoke about in his match day programme, the players were running. It's like, are those the standards we've been dropping below for so many years? And I think Ruben Amorim won't have it.
Free kick here for Manchester United. Rasmus Højlund dropping deep into midfield. He was clipped from behind by the centre-back Gazana, the South African. So an opportunity here for United to load up the penalty area. We've played 5 minutes on Talksport 2. It remains goalless. Christian Eriksen stood over the ball right in the centre of the FCSB half. United have won 5 of their previous 6 meetings against Romanian opposition. The only defeat was against Cluj in the Champions League back in 2012-2013. Here's Christian Eriksen to clip the ball into a congested area, and it glanced off the head of De Ligt, who is a threat from set pieces but didn't really meet that cleanly enough, and it's harmlessly behind for a goal kick for the hosts.
Yeah, I mean, that free kick from Christian Eriksen for the right-hand side, it didn't have much pace on it, and I was looking for De Ligt to potentially head it back across goal. He ended up going for goal, but it didn't really look like Manchester United were going to cause any problems there, because when Christian Eriksen hit it in, there was not enough pace on it for De Ligt to get any type of power on it.
Here's Toby Collier, plucked from Brighton's academy by Manchester United. Now Martinez just inside his own half, shifts the ball out to Kobbie Mainoo, who's under pressure and goes all the way back to Bayinda, not for the first time tonight, and he knocks it short to the edge of the box, and the Moroccan Mazraoui. 0-0, 6 played. And here is Collier, very skinny youngster, fresh-faced, looking to make his mark. As Martinez plays it forward to Højlund on the edge of the area. Højlund trying to hold it up under pressure, does well actually, and then pokes it back out to the left-hand side towards Kobbie Mainoo. That was better from Højlund than we saw at Craven Cottage on Sunday. Mainoo into Christian Eriksen. United moving the ball around with an air of confidence early on here.
Yeah, I like that from Lisandro Martinez, playing through the lines. It was good play from Rasmus Højlund, who I've been quite critical of, but that's what I'm asking of him. Hold the ball up, bring your other teammates into play. I think a player in Martinez, he didn't have the greatest start to the season at all, but I think since that goal at Anfield, he seems to have pushed on and become more of an attacking-minded player.
Here's Dalot coming in from the right-hand side to the centre of the edge of the area. Back to Dalot now in the right wing position. Mazraoui is forward, short pass to Eriksen. Mazraoui gets it back from the Dane. Everybody in blue FCSB shirts pinned back inside their own half as we tick towards the 8th minute. Still goalless in Bucharest. It's Lisandro Martinez, the World Cup winner with Argentina, who just rolls his studs over the ball. The diminutive centre half for United, and now is looking to be more positive and more purposeful. Drives towards the edge of the area. Mainoo back to De Ligt towards halfway. And Bruno Fernandes with a little clip into the box. Dalot was forward, but out comes the goalkeeper, Ternavanu, and it's decent from him. Plucks it from the sky and it stays 0-0.
I'm okay with that though. It was a decent try. We don't see Manchester United do that often, where they're trying to hit a diagonal ball. You can see Dalot is making that run from the right hand side. I think one thing I'm seeing in the opening 7 minutes, Kobbie Mainoo is very, very high. I like it. He made a run there before, third player run. Didn't quite get the ball from Martinez, but that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Here come FCSB on their first real foray forward. And sliding challenge from Malacia was a little bit overzealous on Tanasi, and he's going to get a yellow card for his troubles here, the left wing back. Jan mentioned before kick-off that he's not played much football, and when he has, he's struggled to really impose himself. What you don't want as a defender, particularly in the wide area, is to pick up a yellow card so early in the game.
Yeah, and I don't come from a place where it's the first one or it's the first 10 minutes. I think that is a booking from Malacia. I think we're seeing a player that Ruben Amorim seems to do this quite often, where he seems to be playing players to put them in the shot window. We know coaches do that, but I would expect Malacia to not be starting in this game. Potentially bring him, because obviously he must be good for the team to have her in and around the squad, and he's not a bad character. But I do think he's never really reached those levels, but every 10 Hawks players seem to ever reach the levels.
He stayed down as Florin Tanasi after that challenge from Malacia, so we've got a stoppage in play here. Lazio guaranteed to top the table. They are 1-0 down though. The first goal of the night has gone in, and that could be crucial for Braga. They lead, and it puts them into 24th spot, the last of the playoff places. Anybody finishing 25th or below will crash out tonight, so an important goal there. Still goalless over on Talksport. Tottenham against Elfsborg, and 0-0 here in Bucharest as well, and still the delay. Tyrell Malacia, one of the players who could well depart Old Trafford between now and 11 o'clock on Monday when the transfer window closes. We know United closing in on the signing of Patrick Dorgu from Lecce. Luke Shaw returned to training this week, didn't make the trip to Romania, but Ruben Amorim will be pleased to see him back, and it's so important, isn't it, that left wing back position, just to bring some balance to the team.
Yeah, no doubt Luke Shaw is a top player, but unfortunately you cannot have players that are consistently unfit, Crookie, and I think for Manchester United fans, seeing him play for England and not really playing for the club, I think this rubbed the fans the wrong way. I'm delighted he's back, but I still think he seems to make these recoveries when there seems to be a player that comes in. I remember when Tellez came in, the same thing happened. No doubt Luke Shaw will be Manchester United's best left back, so hopefully he can get fit.
First real piece of defending United have had to do tonight. 10 minutes gone, 0-0. The free kick is going to be whipped in by Radanovic from the FCSB right-hand side. It's a left-footed delivery, and they all go up and attack it, and it's steered just wide with the goalkeeper rooted. It was Mihai Popescu up from the back, and that is inches away from creeping the right side of the post, and Manchester United falling behind.
Great ball in. Popescu should have put that in the back of the net, and I think it's been a story of Manchester United season a lot where they just cannot defend set pieces, whether it be corners, whether it be free kick. It was a fantastic ball in, but there was 3 or 4 players, Cricket, that wasn't even marked at the back post, and I think Popescu will be kicking himself that he had to put that in the back of the net.
Yeah, they've had real issues, as Leanne Sanderson was saying there, defending set pieces. There have been quite a few occasions pre-match when they've literally been practicing defending those free kicks and corners as part of their warm-up routine, but it hasn't seemed to have made that much difference. And again there are a whole line of FCSB players who've got the wrong side of the Manchester United defence, and having gravitated to the near post, Binder relieved to see the toe-poked effort trickle wide of the opposite upright. It's an early warning though to Manchester United, despite the fact they seem to have taken the sting out of the home team in these opening 12 minutes. They are a dangerous outfit. Dalot brings the ball down inside the penalty area. Højlund holds it up again neatly, and then Eriksen out to Malacia. Can he get a decent cross in here? Malacia from the left-hand side, just delayed that, and in the end knocks it back into midfield, where Eriksen has to scamper to keep possession. I think he could have been a lot more positive there, Tyrell Malacia. Here's Mazraoui, 0-0 on Talksport 2. Mazraoui coming forward towards the FCSB 18-yard line. Back it goes into Martinez inside the centre circle. United's last 3 Europa League victories have been by a solitary goal, so it was never really realistic to expect them to come here and brush their hosts aside, despite the fact, as Leanne has mentioned, that FCSB did suffer a 4-0 defeat against Rangers earlier in the competition. That's their only loss. As Collier nods the ball down to Martinez, he's back now with Matthijs de Ligt on halfway for Manchester United.
I mean, that's an example there, Crookie. Malacia's getting down the left-hand side. There was 3 players lining up in the box, and I'd expect him to be a little bit more positive. It was a fantastic ball from Christian Eriksen out to the left, because he completely sold the FCSB players down the river, because they thought he was going to go inside to Kobbie Mainoo. But I think Malacia needs to be a bit more positive. And these games are quite difficult. When a team is sitting in, you have to find a way to break them down. And I'll be interested to see where the spare player is on the pitch for Man United, because Kobbie Mainoo is making good runs, isn't really getting the ball in those areas, and he's dropping a little bit deeper now to get on the ball.
You might see a situation where they need to be a bit more positive, FCSB, as the night progresses, because they're in 8th place as it stands, only a point ahead of Galatasaray and Bodo Glimt, just below the line of teams who will go straight into the round of 16. Just the 1 goal so far tonight. Braga lead, Lazio 1-0. In fact, Ferencváros have just taken the lead against RZ as well, 1-0 in that game. We'll keep you updated with the goals as they go, and elsewhere Ferencváros and RZ at the moment both on course for a playoff place. It was a dramatic night, wasn't it, in the Champions League last night? Manchester City coming from behind here on Talksport 2 to avoid what would have been a humiliating early elimination. They're going to have to play Real Madrid or Bayern Munich to book their spot in the last 16. Aston Villa safely through after beating Celtic. You heard that live on Talksport. Here's Christian Eriksen, who's been brought down by the right corner flag. Well, the assistant referee had a brilliant view of it. He was 5 yards away and doesn't give the free kick, much to Eriksen's perplexion. It's back now with Martinez with 14 minutes gone. It's still 0-0 and neither goalkeeper has been seriously tested as of yet, but the best chance has fallen for the home side. A free kick whipped in that Popescu up from the back could only steer wide when probably he should have scored. Here is De Ligt into Martinez. We've seen a lot of passes between that back three for Manchester United. The possession stats will be very favourable, but they've not really had the ball in areas where they can hurt their hosts. That might change. Dink forward towards Kobbie Mainoo. Oh, Mainoo with the effort towards goal. It was brilliant footwork. In the end, the shot lacked power, and it's straight into the arms of Ternuvanu. But it was brilliant control to pluck the pass from the sky and then flick it over the head of the defender by Mainoo. Just lacking the end product, Leanne.
Brilliant ball from Martinez again in between the lines. Kobbie Mainoo does everything right. To be fair to the defender, he covered around because it looked like he just swung it. But it was great composure, great first touch.
Here's Tanasi at the other end. Manchester United with defending to do as the cross is played into their penalty area, but the flag goes up because it had gone behind for a goal kick.
I think Martinez has really added that to his game since Ruben Amorim has come in, because we don't usually see Martinez playing the ball forward in this way. And it'll be interesting because FCSB are just banking in a 4-2-3-1 on the attack, and then they're all dropping in a 4-5-1 when they're defending, and it's difficult. But Kobbie Mainoo, I think, making those third man runs is going to cause FCSB a lot of problems in those areas. And like I said, he looked like he was swinging it to put it in the back of the net, and the defender covered around really well to put him off.
Manchester United, as it stands, will stay in fourth place in the table. Victory will guarantee them a spot in the top 8. Anything less than that, and they'll be reliant on other results potentially. Fernandes into Christian Eriksen. Eriksen with a shot from the edge of the area, beaten away unconvincingly by the FCSB goalkeeper. But they're starting to create chances now, Manchester United. 16 gone, 0-0, but a couple of decent opportunities. Here's Tanasi though at the other end as the game begins to open up. Baligia has made a dart into the penalty area. It's a really disappointing cross because the captain suit had peeled away to the edge of the box, and it was sort of between the two players. Back in from the left hand side, Martinez heads it clear, and then it's blazed high over the crossbar, and it will be a goal kick for Manchester United. It was Ejuma who let fly with a volley, but it would have been some strike to find the back of the net from that far out.
It would have, and I think Manchester United were having their best patterns of play. I like the rotation in the midfield. We saw Bruno Fernandes getting on the left-hand side, before that Kobbie Mainoo, and I think the reason why FCSB ended up getting in there is because Man United were on the attack, and then Toby Collier has got a massive job at trying to hold position in that defensive midfield area. But I think Manchester United are getting a lot of joy down the left where they're rotating, and they just need to be patient, pick their moments. But I like the third player runs are really getting in down the left.
Pressure being applied there to Kobbie Mainoo. He's won a free kick. He was a bit uncomfortable for a moment with Popescu pressing him from behind, but it is a free kick in the left back position. Bruno Fernandes, the skipper for Manchester United, got that crucial late goal against Rangers a week ago, is dropping very deep. Eriksen flicks it forward to Højlund. The two Denmark internationals combine, and there's that maybe lack of acceleration that we've been talking about with Højlund. He couldn't get away from his defender. He's back now with De Ligt under pressure from Baligia on the edge of the box, and he finds the yellow-shirted Bayindir, the Manchester United goalkeeper. 18 minutes played, FCSB 0, United 0 in the Europa League.
So we're seeing the first 70 minutes of the game. You can see Christian Eriksen's never been blessed with pace, neither was Zaya, but I think you can see the mind is there, slowing the game down when he's getting it and putting the ball in behind, playing a really nice ball there to Højlund. And that's what I don't understand, cricket. Everyone talks about Højlund being quick, but he don't seem quick to me.
Here is Højlund though, into the penalty area. Can he cut it back for Mainoo? Yes, he can! And it's blazed over the crossbar. Well, that is far and away the best chance that Manchester United have created. It all came from a clever through ball from Lisandro Martinez. Højlund had timed his run. He found space inside the area, cuts it back for Mainoo, 12 yards out. He can't keep it down. It stays 0-0.
Got a score there. It's a fantastic play from Rasmus Højlund, credit where it's due. And he just leans back. That's a really good opportunity. He's about not even 12 yards out. He's got to put that in the back of the net, Kobbie Mainoo. But they're getting again joy down the left-hand side. That's where the space is.
And here they come again, Manchester United. Højlund taken out on the edge of the penalty area. It was Joachim Dawa with the challenge. He is protesting to the referee that he got the ball, but it is a free kick within shooting range. It got Ruben Amorim animated. Bruno Fernandes will be sizing this up, no doubt, as Manchester United continue to look more likely. It was a two-footed challenge from Dawa. He may have got a bit of the ball, but he's certainly got a lot of the man as well, Leanne.
Yeah, that's a poor tackle. When I first saw it, I thought it looked like a fair challenge, but then when I'm seeing it again, and he hasn't picked up a booking, how's that worked out?
I mean, you've seen Malacia already get a yellow card at the other end.
Yeah, I think it's a really good position for Manchester United. It's almost one of those ones too close to get it up and over the wall. It's a difficult technique in these moments. We've seen a lot of players go low. We saw one at the weekend when Bruno Fernandes hit it really low, and all the Manchester United fans behind the goal thought it got in the back of the net. We could see him try a similar technique. This one is so close, like 20 yards out.
Anderlecht lead Hoffenheim by a goal to nil. That will drop Manchester United down to 5th place in the table as it stands, and we're going to use that phrase a lot over the course of the evening. Bruno Fernandes came close with a free kick at Craven Cottage on Sunday. What can he do from here? There are 4 men in the FCSB wall. He went low, didn't he, against Fulham, because there wasn't a sort of draft excluder, but in this case there is. Valentin Cretu lying down behind that 4-man wall, so maybe the low route to goal has been closed. Martinez is showing interest as well, and it is Martinez coming in left-footed from the right-hand side, high over the crossbar, still goalless.
In those moments, Crookie, it's so difficult to get it up and over the wall. I think that was a bit of a wasted opportunity, Martinez. As a player, you should know when you're stepping up to the ball. The way you hit it, you know that's going over all day long from the moment it left his foot. You can kind of see Christian Eriksen just like walk away and kind of shrug his shoulders, because if you're going to do that, you might as well play it short. Try some intricacy in and around the box.
You are listening to FCSB against Manchester United on Talksport 2, brought to you by TNT Sports, the home of European football. 21 minutes played 0-0, but Manchester United have had a couple of really good opportunities, not least Kobbie Mainoo blazing over 12 yards out with a goal at his mercy. Here's Collier, made his European debut against Rangers last week and retains his starting spot. There's been a coming together inside the centre circle. Bruno Fernandes involved, and I think it's Florin Tanasi who's down again. I wonder if that's still the after effects of that challenge that saw Tyrell Malacia pick up the only yellow card of the evening.
It seems that way because he had no reason to go down in that moment. It looked like it was a rough one on him initially, and they're bringing out the magic spray now, so hopefully he's going to be all right, but I think that was definitely a knock-on effect because he goes down kind of unopposed. You can see he felt a little bit of pain. He kind of just sits down. It's not like he did anything. He didn't jar his knee or anything like that. Just getting a little bit of treatment, but it was definitely from a Malacia tackle.
Rangers take the lead against Union Saint-Galois, 1-0 up at Ibrox. Rangers just below the top 8 positions. That goal could have damaging effects for FCSB and Tottenham if they were to lose their respective games. Rangers beaten at Manchester United last week, as we've mentioned, but they are ahead this evening. Still 0-0 on Talksport. Tottenham against Elfsborg, and here in the National Arena, Bucharest, it's FCSB 0, Manchester United 0 as well, and play will restart with Fernandes in possession on halfway for United. He's got a bit of room to run into on the edge of the penalty area. Just miscontrolled the ball. It's intercepted by Popescu. One back by Malacia on that far side, and he wins his team a free kick 2 yards in from the touchline. Fernandes plays it quickly to Kobbie Mainoo. Sliding challenge there from Gazana was a good one. They can't get out at the moment. Gazana with a clearance over halfway. De Ligt beaten in the air, but Collier will be there to mop up the second ball on the edge of the centre circle. He goes all the way back to Bayındır, 6'6" Turkish international, making only his second European appearance of the season, having kept goal against Rangers last week in that 2-1 victory that could yet prove so important to Manchester United's season. Here's Martinez in the left-back position, coming over halfway, infield for Collier. 23 minutes gone, 0-0. Kobbie Mainoo's side puts the pass back to Martinez. United continue to dictate the pace of the game, and actually I use the word pace. I wonder if they could inject a little bit more speed into their play. It's all a bit laboured at the moment from the Premier League side.
he is, and I think we've seen that throughout the season. When Ahmad is not on the pitch and when Garnacho's not on the pitch, where is the speed of play coming from? Bruno Fernandes, it's one thing being quick, it's one thing being able to move the ball quickly. And Manchester United are just kind of, this will play into FCSB's hands, taking this thing out of the game a little bit.
Fernandes forward to Mainu, left-hand side as we look. Hoyland's made a darting run ahead of him, but Mainu opts just to slow the game down again and keep possession before going back into his own half of Malacia. Here's Collier once more, with those socks rolled down to the ankle, Jack Grealish style. Mazraoui now in the bright pink boots into Dalot. Collier sold a bit short by Dalot, and I think Mazraoui just caught Popescu. It's going to be a free kick for FCSB, round about halfway. It was Michalescu, actually, David Michalescu, who felt the force of that challenge. He's a goal threat as well, operating on the left-hand side of the front three. Scored 9 times over the course of the season. And Captain Soup plays the free kick back into his own penalty area. 25 gone, 0-0 here. Manchester United at the moment retaining their grip on a top 8 finish.
Manchester United have had 76% possession, but I think when you look at the best opportunity, it came to Popescu from that set piece on the back post. So I think Manchester United just need to keep playing the ball through the lines. Martinez was getting a lot of joy down the left-hand side. Kobbie Mainoo stopped making those runs down the left that he's getting a lot of joy from, and Bruno Fernandes as well. And I think that's where they were getting, that's where the spare player was with the runs they were making. So I think they need to go back to the drawing board and almost keep trying to do that, because right now this just plays into FCSB's hands.
Ajax have taken the lead against Galatasaray. That's significant because Galatasaray started the evening in the top 8, so good news for both these teams. Manchester United could lose tonight and still finish in the top 8 unless 5 of the 8 teams below them all win. In fact, they can finish anywhere between 2nd and 12th, and 2nd should be a target because it would mean they wouldn't be able to play Lazio until the final. So lots of permutations to play out between now and the end of the game. 26 gone here, it's 0-0. Kobbie Mainoo has blazed over for Manchester United when he should have at least hit the target, and likewise Mikhai Popescu attacking a free kick at the other end could only steer his shot wide, with Bayinda, the Manchester United goalkeeper, absolutely rooted to his spot. Here is Martinez, 10 yards inside his own half. Bruno Fernandes comes with the ball into FCSB territory, plays it against Ajuma, wins a throw. Crouching down on the edge of the technical area is Ruben Amorim. He turned 40 on Monday, although he joked that since taking charge of Manchester United he feels like he's already 50. Here's Dalot coming in field, finding Fernandes on the edge of the penalty area, thought about the shot, plays it forward to Hoyland. Eriksen's got space if they can find him on this right-hand side. The pass from Dalot was a little bit overcooked, and he's done well to keep it in play and try and keep some of the momentum here. Eriksen, Mazraoui with a cross towards Hoyland. It's over his head, and it was good goalkeeping by Turnuvanu. Catching the ball cleanly and in the end winning a free kick for the challenge by Hoyland inside his own 6-yard box, just led with the left arm.
A good play from Manchester United on the edge of the box. I would have expected Bruno Fernandes to play the ball through to Eriksen. I don't think he needed to take that extra touch to Dalot. But Eriksen is getting into good positions within this game. And I think on the left-hand side, Man United were quite heavy down there. And the moments have gone on, Eriksen's getting on the ball a little bit more. And that could cause a little bit of problems for FCSB.
I think Bilbao lead Victoria Pilsen 1-0. Athletic Club 2nd in the as-it-stands table. Manchester United 5th, Tottenham 7th, Rangers still 9th, despite the fact they're 1-0 up at Ibrox, 0-0 over on Talksport between Spurs and Elfsborg. As Lisandro Martinez comes forward, and Kobbie Mainoo back into his own half, and Matthijs de Ligt, 17 minutes the first half to play. That's a good ball looking for Mainoo on the edge of the area. Well read by Gazana, and he clears it away, and then Eriksen beaten to the loose ball by Soot. Here's Milescu dropping very deep, plays it out to his left-hand side, and Radanovic. Decent atmosphere inside the National Arena, including that nearly 3,000 strong contingent from Manchester. They've been enjoying the sights and sounds of the Romanian capital. One of the best night spots in Europe, I'm reliably informed, so I'm sure they had a good night yesterday in preparation for this game. Here's Collier, midway inside the FCSB half. He plays it back to Mazraoui on halfway. At the moment, United still not really managing to penetrate that FCSB back line, barring that one golden chance from Mainu, who's in space on the edge of the penalty area, but they've gone down the left to Malacia instead. Here's Martinez now for Manchester United. Again, everybody in blue back behind the ball. It's a game of patience, isn't it, in many ways?
It is, but they have to move the ball quicker. I understand FCSB are getting behind the ball, all 11 players, everybody behind it, but they're slowing the game down. I think Manchester United started the game really well, was moving the ball quickly, whereas now they're just playing into FCSB's hands, they're banking up, and I just think they need to take a few more risks in those areas. I think Kobbie Mainoo's making some really good runs, but Malacia is just kind of out on the left-hand side, not really causing any problems, and they're reluctant. Martinez seems reluctant to give it to Malacia, and when he does give it to him, he's coming back inside.
Now, Sanderson, former England women's international. Manchester United have completed 200 odd passes so far. Just 66 for the home team. They've had 69% possession. As the ball is clipped forward to Højlund with a header, and it's a tame one into the arms of Ternuvanu. It was a decent dink ball into the box. Højlund had to generate his own pace, couldn't really do that, and it's a pretty comfortable stop from the goalkeeper, but it will go down as another shot on target for the visitors.
I'd have liked to have seen him there, Crookie, bring the ball down. I think the judgment of the flight of the ball, there wasn't much pace on it. It was a really good little dink into the box. But I'd have liked to have seen Rasmus Højlund bring this one down. It was a fantastic ball from Martinez. He's got that ball on a rope tonight. But I think he's in that position, Rasmus Højlund, just in front of the penalty spot, where he would have known the power that had been generated. And that's when I think he needs to be a bit cuter in those areas. It's asking a lot of a player to bring it down, but bring it down on the chest. Bring it down and just put it in the back of the net, or at least make the keeper make a save.
Rangers have conceded at home to Union Saint-Gilloise. It's 1-1 at Ibrox. That drops Rangers down to 14th in the table. So a blow for Philippe Clement's side, who was so close to snatching a point at Old Trafford a week ago. I wonder just how priceless that late winner from Bruno Fernandes could prove to be. Not just in the context of this season, but if Manchester United could somehow clamber into the Champions League by winning this Europa League, that would make all the difference to the summer rebuild plans that Ruben Amorim no doubt has. We're expecting some high-profile departures, the likes of Casemiro, Christian Eriksen. Victor Lindelof is out of contract, he will go. And what about Marcus Rashford as well, if he doesn't find a club to take him on loan between now and Monday? Here's Mainu, trying to twist away from the challenge of Popescu, but he's done well there. The right side centre-back, and quickly FCSB come forward down their right. Cretu with a cross into the penalty area. It's a poor ball and straight to the feet of Dalot. There were half-hearted appeals for handball on the edge of the United area, but the referee unmoved. But it's clear, isn't it, that they're soaking up pressure, FCSB. When they do get the ball, they're a lot more speedy in terms of getting it forward on the attack.
They are, and I think that's where Manchester United need to be a bit cuter. That ball opened up there for Christian Eriksen to ping it out to Malacia, just under-hit him. But I think FCSB shouldn't cause Manchester United that many problems if Manchester United are disciplined defensively. But I do think Manchester United just need to be better in that final third areas. They're making Højlund's making decent runs, to be fair to him. Did a good pullback for Kobbie Mainoo and should have put it in the back of the net. I think in certain moments as well, I think Dalot has to also travel with the ball. I think Manchester United are too quick. We saw the amount of passes they've made, which is amazing, because it makes Manchester United look like the Barcelona of old. But where are those passes going? You know, they're going from side to side. We're not really seeing any penetration through the middle.
Here's Eriksen after CSB gave the ball away cheaply on halfway. Mazraoui in a tussle on this left-hand side with Milescu, and Mazraoui wins the free kick, used his body well there. They have failed to score, FCSB, in 3 of their last 5 Europa League games. Apart from that one opportunity that Popescu up from the back steered wide from a free kick, they haven't really asked any serious questions of the Manchester United defence. Best chance for the visitors as it stays 0-0. Kobbie Mainoo from 12 yards out after good work from Højlund on the left could only lift his shot high over the crossbar. Here is Dalot down the right for United, midway inside FCSB territory, into Fernandes, the captain, and now Kobbie Mainoo with his back to goal, plays it back to Fernandes. Højlund wrestling with Gazana, and Gazana slides in and just pokes the ball away from Manchester United's number 9, and it's going to be cleared forward down the left-hand side by Radanovic. In fact, the goalkeeper, Turnuvanu, 3 Romanian caps, finds touch, and Manchester United have a throw. You're listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. 0-0 in Romania. Manchester United unbeaten in the Europa League so far this season, despite the fact they got off to quite a slow start in terms of damaging draws. Here's Christian Eriksen, just cushions the ball into Dalot on the edge of the penalty area. Collier lets it run under his studs, and it's collected by Fernandes, who rolls it forward to Martinez. Martinez with a cross, looking for Højlund, but it's straight into the gloves of the goalkeeper. 0-0.
Yeah, you can see what Martinez was trying to do there. I think obviously he's looking for Rasmus Højlund. I think if one thing Ruben Amorim and his staff can do is teach Rasmus Højlund to stop checking towards the ball. One thing a coach taught me back in the day, have your hips open so you can see 3 corner flags. Something so simple. Jack Wilshere was one of the best at it. Always had his head on a swivel. Rasmus Højlund checks towards the ball and it's happy days for the centre-backs, because there's only one place he can go. Bruno Fernandes is trying to play the ball into his feet and it just isn't sticking.
Good news for Rangers. That equalising goal for Union Sangawara has been chalked off for offside following a VAR review, so Rangers stay a goal to the good there. Ferencváros double their lead against RZ. 2-0 they now lead. Manchester United 5th in the as it stands table. Tottenham 7th, still 0-0 at home to Elfsborg. Rangers back to within a point of FCSB, and they do have a better goal difference, so if Manchester United were to score here, Rangers all of a sudden would find themselves in one of those coveted top 8 positions. 35 minutes gone, it's 0-0. I think Ruben Amorim will be reasonably happy with the way that Manchester United have controlled the game, but I think he would want a bit more energy in the forward areas. Here's Mainu out to Fernandes, who's occupying the left wing position, gives it back to Mainu, looks to cut it back inside the area to Højlund, but it's swept away by Adrian Soot, the captain for FCSB. Scored a couple of goals against Karabag earlier in the league phase. This is Eriksen. He's got Højlund ahead of him, but opts to switch the play out to the right, and Dalot's in space. Only 2 United players inside the box. Malacia joining Mainu in Højlund, but there are 5 FCSB defenders blocking the route to goal. So Fernandes goes short to Mazraoui. Now Højlund dropping deep. I think his hold-up play has been much, much better than we saw at Craven Cottage. Rasmus Højlund, he rolls the ball into the path of De Ligt, but again they've gone all the way back into the centre circle, Manchester United, when it looked like they had a promising opportunity to maybe get across into the box.
The problem is as well, I think the movement is quite static, and I think when Dalot received that ball on the right hand side, put the ball in where it hurts, but then the 3 players, Malacia, Højlund, were already in there. You know, and Kobbie Mainoo as well. You have to hold your run and make the run. See, Bruno Fernandes often orchestrates, where he's putting his arms out, saying as if to say, run in those areas, but the players are already in there.
Eriksen trying to play the ball forward to Højlund again. He's beaten for pace by Gazana, but he's still trying to pressure the centre-back for FCSB. The ball goes behind. As Manchester United send out the likes of Amad Diallo, Victor Lindelof and Lenny Yoro to warm up. They do have aces in the pack in terms of that subs-bench United, as FCSB are awarded the goal kick. Amad Diallo, 9 goals for him this season, including a couple in this Europa League. Garnacho, only a goal behind the Ivorian, can come on and certainly inject some pace into the attack. They are lacking that at the moment.
I think Martinez has had an excellent game. He's one of those players that I think has really added that attacking style to his game. But also, he's known for the butcher, obviously, at Man United, and I think there's a reason for that, because he likes to get stuck in. He's not shy of a tackle, but I do think his forward play, every time he's picking up the ball, he's always looking to play through the lines. He created the opportunity for Mainu just moments ago, and I think that's been a real positive for this first half.
Midtjylland lead Fenerbahce by a goal to 0. Midtjylland looking to cement themselves in the playoff round. It's still goalless at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and if Rangers can hold on to that lead, Tottenham will start to get a little bit nervy. 7th as it stands, FCSB in 8th place, Manchester United 5th with 7 minutes the first half to play, and the score locked at 0-0. A point would be enough for United as it stands. Here comes Malacia running down the left-hand side. The flag was up because he started in an offside position. I wonder if FCSB suddenly fall out of the top 8 because of results elsewhere? Could that suit Manchester United, because they would then have to go in search of a goal, and maybe that would leave more space to attack?
Definitely, and I think again Martinez has played a fantastic ball. Malacia has to look along the line there. You can't be offside, you can see the whole way along. And I think the thing about Manchester United, Ruben Amorim, you can see what he's trying to have different routes of how to get to goal. And I think, we're seeing them play diagonal balls. We don't usually see Manchester United do that. But I think, potentially that could leave, if the FCSB need to get a goal, and that's communicated at half-time, for example, there could be spaces in behind. And that's a perfect example at a time of when you bring on Ahmad and you bring on Garnacho. And I think it's interesting because Ahmad hasn't really started a lot of games under Ruben Amorim, and he's quite clearly Manchester United, apart from Bruno's best player. And this whole thing about having to rest Ahmad, I don't quite get it, because you look at the games against Arsenal, he was on the bench, and you look at the big games, he seems to be on the bench.
I think he did say before the game to our television colleagues, Ruben Amorim, that he was just feeling a little bit fatigued after that game at Fulham at the weekend. Manchester United at home to Crystal Palace in the Premier League on Sunday.
That's fair enough then. That's fair enough.
And if they were to beat Palace, it would be the first time this season they've won back-to-back Premier League games. So that would be another positive stride forward as far as Amorim is concerned. Of course, his European season started in the Champions League, masterminded that home win for Sporting against Manchester City, now looking to navigate United into the last 16 of the Europa League, the secondary competition. With 5 minutes the first half to play, it's still 0-0 in Romania. The ball is chipped into the Manchester United box by Ender. Thought about coming, left it for his defence, and Dalot has smuggled it away to the edge of the area. Here's Adrian Soot, chips it out to the right hand side, and it's cushioned down inside the box by Cretu, and then nodded along the 6-yard line by Milescu. Wasn't the best header down, and Manchester United will clear their lines with Martinez. And it's chipped back towards the away penalty area and headed clear by Mazraoui. Wasn't convincing defending by Manchester United there.
No, it wasn't, and I think again that's been the story of the season. When there in the Arsenal game was the hero, and he completely deserved that. His family was sitting behind me in the away end, and they were so emotional. But one criticism I have of him is his kicking is really not good. In that game against Arsenal, kind of got overshadowed, as it should, because he was the hero, he was fantastic. But we're seeing moments when he's had a couple of balls passed back to him. He did that in the Arsenal game where he isn't that good with his feet.
Which is strange, because of course one of the reasons that Andre Onana was recruited was because of his ability to play out for the back, although that's deserted him at times as well. But certainly that probably highlights the lack of joined up thinking by Manchester United when it comes to some of their signings. Here's Collier.
Onana's a weird one though, Crookie, because
that's a mistake by Malacia, and an opportunity maybe here for FCSB. Cretu on the edge of the penalty area, looking for a bit of support. Collier does really well, holds up Boligia. Still coming forward though with Boligia down the right hand side, and Tyrell Malacia, having made the initial error, has conceded a throw down by the corner flag. Just for a minute looked like Valentin Cretu could be in. United had enough defenders back there to bail out Malacia after the error.
Manchester United are very lucky that Cretu didn't go towards goal. If I was Cretu, I'd just be heading one route straight towards goal. Poor from Malacia, and I don't want to hammer him, but I just think Malacia has been so poor since he signed for Manchester. And I know he's out with that injury for quite a long time, but he looks poor, Cookie.
A long throw into the Manchester United area, headed up but not really away by Malacia. Brought down by Cretu, and then a handball against the FCSB right wing back. So a free kick for Manchester United in the left back position. Well, he didn't play a lot of football, none at all in fact last season. Only really came back into the fold after Erik ten Hag had departed, but as I mentioned already, my understanding is that Tyrell Malacia has been told he can go out on loan before the transfer window closes on Monday, with Patrick Dorgu on his way from Lecce and Luke Shaw back in training as well. A reminder, the best way to keep in touch with all the transfer deadline day activity is by tuning in to Talksport, 10 o'clock until 1 a.m. Myself and Mr. Deadline himself, Jim White, will be steering the ship, and I think there are some intriguing deals to be done. Here is Sandro Martinez for Manchester United, 10 yards inside his own half. It's still 0-0 on Talksport 2, and we've only got a couple of first half minutes to play. The ball is launched forward to Malacia, and he helps it on to Eriksson. Lovely little flick by Christian Eriksen, almost came for Mainoo on the edge of the box before being steered away by Cretu. Here is Malacia. Oh, that's a lovely ball along the 6-yard line. The goalkeeper couldn't get there. just needed one or two more of his teammates to gamble, and Manchester United may well be in front.
Yeah, good play from Malacia. I've been quite critical of him in this first half, so I just don't think he's been good enough. But I think that's the one opportunity we've seen. He gets down the left-hand side, puts a fantastic ball across, and nobody was there. I think Christian Eriksen's had a good first half as well. The little touches he has had on the ball have been really good.
Hoffenheim have equalised away from home against Anderlecht in the Europa League. Anderlecht in 7th place now, one ahead of FCSB on goal difference, one behind Spurs. There are 4 teams currently in the top 8 on 15 points. Lyon, Tottenham, Anderlecht and our host this evening, Manchester United, on 16 points, back up to 4th in the table. That's where they started the evening. You are listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van. I wonder what Ruben Amorim's plan will be for the second half. Looks like United are going to get to half-time with the goalless draw intact. And we will find out very shortly how many added minutes there will be. You would expect the longer it stays 0-0, as much as that will be enough for Manchester United with the results elsewhere, that the likes of Ahmad and Garnacho will be brought on to try and inject some pace into the attack. Maybe Xerxes as well as an alternative to Højlund. They've got a piece of defending to do here, Manchester United, because Radanovic is coming forward down the left, plays the ball back infield to his captain Soot. Dalot able to head it away, but Eriksen can't hold it up. Dalot facing his own goal, under pressure from Radanovic. He does well to smuggle it out for a FCSB throw.
I think in this system as well, you have to find a way to be able to get Bruno Fernandes on the ball. I think Toby Collier's had a relatively decent first half when it comes to positional awareness. He's in the right place. He's allowing Kobe Mainoo to go forward. But everybody as a Manchester United fan would want Bruno Fernandes playing a little bit higher, being able to get on the ball, or then being able to rotate to get him on the ball. And I think that's something Ruben Amorim at half-time will be looking at. Yes, he will probably make changes in around the 60th minute or so, but I do think Bruno Fernandes hasn't had any real touches on the ball.
We're into 3 added minutes at the end of the first half. We played 30 seconds already. FCSB 0, Manchester United 0. Here is Ejuma into the penalty area, tried a little turn away. Martinez alert to the danger and brings the ball clear before Malacia chips it upfield looking for Højlund, beaten in the air by Gazana. And then Ejuma, the Frenchman, can't keep it in. It's a throw in for United, taken by Malacia. Asked a little bit of Fernandes there, but he manages to poke the ball forward under pressure to Mainoo. Mainoo, I think, just making that point to Malacia that in his haste to get the game restarted with a throw, he almost put his team under pressure. Here's Mainoo again, the England international. Forward to Bruno Fernandes, just over halfway, down the left Fernandes at this moment in time. And then he dinks it forward for the runner Malacia. He's got the wrong side of Cretu. Malacia able to hold it up on the far touchline before rolling it into the path of Mainoo in the centre. Boos from the FCSB supporters will be music to Ruben Amorim's ears at 0-0. United have been dominant in terms of possession and passes. They had one huge opportunity that Mainoo couldn't take. Haven't really been under too much pressure at the other end, but they have lacked a little bit of dynamism in their play. Here's Fernandes back towards the centre circle. He side-foots the pass into Martinez. Martinez, who scored the winner at Fulham on Sunday, forward to the edge of the penalty area. Good skills from him, looking for Højlund, and Cretu ushers it behind. It's going to be a goal kick and maybe the last semblance of a Manchester United attack in this first half. Again, I love that from Martinez. He overruns the ball in the air, but it was fantastic creativity to get in those areas. I think we saw moments ago Bruno Fernandes played a fantastic ball out wide to Malacia. Great finesse on the ball, and I think Cretu was hoping that Malacia was going to go inside, and I think it's happy days for the fullbacks. When the fullbacks are getting the balls in those areas, I think that's where someone like Ahmad, we know Ruben Amorim likes to play him in those wing-back positions. I think he can get so much joy in the second half because Malacia just keeps coming inside every time he's getting the ball. Just a few seconds of first half stoppage time to play. FCSB 0, Manchester United 0 as Ferencváros get a third at home to AZ. They lead by 3-0. Roma lead 1-0 against Frankfurt. Real Sociedad 1, PAOK 0. It is half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Goalless between Spurs and Elfsborg. Spurs in 6th place as it stands. Manchester United 4th. Rangers still just outside the top 8. As the half-time whistle goes in Bucharest, well, Manchester United have Shown a lot of huff and puff, but not too much quality, as the look on the face of their captain Bruno Fernandes illustrates one big opportunity that came their way. Good work from Rasmus Højlund down the left-hand side. He cut the pass back for Kobbie Mainoo, who blazed over at the other end. Just one moment of concern. It was a free kick whipped in by FCSB. Mihai Popescu up from the back met it and could only toe poke his shot wide, with Bayern Deer rooted to the near post. Leanne, what did you make overall of that first half?
Yeah, I think it's been quite underwhelming, but we've seen that from Manchester United. They're okay, the game's not being pretty, as long as they get the job done. I think against Rangers, similar situation, Fulham at the weekend, and I think Ruben Amorim will be looking to bring on Garnacho and Ahmad to maybe make something happen. I think Bruno Fernandes will be quite frustrated in that first half, didn't really get on the ball. I think the bright sparks were Martinez, who was playing through the lines, playing some really good balls in those areas. I think when Christian Eriksen got on the ball, he looked really good, but I think it's few and far between. I'd like to see Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes having a little bit more combinations higher up the field of play. I feel like at times Bruno's having to drop deeper, Kobbie Mainoo's having to drop deeper, and I think Malacia just is not in the right place. He doesn't look fit to me, he doesn't look ready, and I understand when players are out for that long, Crookie, it's difficult to come back, but to me, he second guesses himself quite a lot.
So 0-0 then in Romania. Work to be done in terms of the victory in the second half for Manchester United, but the result enough as it stands to wrap up fourth place in the league phase and a place straight into the round of 16. Goalless as well over on Talksport between Tottenham and Elfsborg. Spurs looking a bit nervously over their shoulders at results elsewhere. Second half commentary to come, 0-0 between FSCB and Manchester United. You are listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League.
Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
This Saturday, the £15 million lotto jackpot must be won, or thousands of you will win a share of the prize. But who will it be? Maybe someone bowling, like Les, who is pretty sure his lane's wonky, or Ellie, who has never bowled it. Get in, Ellie! Today is your lucky day. Lotto, will you be next? Play on app. The National Lottery. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
This is the call of the chiff chaff. This is the call of the willow warbler. Hear the difference? Thankfully, some things are obvious, like choosing Interactive Investor for your ISA and personal pension. With 30 years' experience, over 430,000 customers, and a rating of excellent on Trustpilot, the choice is obvious. Search Interactive Investor. Investment values can go down as well as up. You could get back less than you invest.
Like some kind of pizza ninja, Domino's are slicing their prices. Domino's Price Slice. Small pizzas now £8, medium now £10, and large now £12. Yep, we're making cuts too. Minimum delivery spend, charges and areas may apply. T's and C's, see dominos.co.uk.
At B&Q and TradePoint, get 4 for 3 on laminate and luxury vinyl click flooring and 20% off wall and floor tiles. Plus, get 10% off underlay and Mapei adhesives and grout. Shop in-store, online or on the app. You can do it when you B&Q it. Ends 4th of February. Exclusions apply. See DIY.com for details.
Jill Scott here with the winning pass from Cadbury. You could be in with a chance to win the ultimate match day experience. A choice of Arsenal, Chelsea FC, Leeds United, Manchester United or Tottenham Hotspur match tickets. Plus a luxury hotel stay and a chance to meet a legend. The full works. Best of all, you get to share it with 3 of your mates. Who will you share it with? Buy a pack to enter. UK only 18 plus. Visit thewinningpass.cadbury.co.uk to enter and for full T's and C's and price details.
Tomorrow is self-assessment deadline day, so Talksport and Intuit QuickBooks have teamed up to balance your business finance commitments with some beautiful football content. You tackle your self-assessment, we'll tackle the transfer market. You finish the admin, we'll cover all the latest speculation, signings and spending sprees. Get self-assessment support throughout the day tomorrow on Talksport with QuickBooks Sole Trader. Tackle your self-assessment and business admin with ease all year round.
Co-op members always save more on our fresh deals. Right now, we've got savings on irresistible baking potatoes, seasonal apples, and Little Gem lettuce. Our latest 3 fresh deals. Go on, take your pick. Co-op, owned by you, right by you.
Ends 11th of February. Co-op membership required. Selected stores excludes independent society stores subject to availability.
Weekend's biggest games.
Dynamic and dazzling.
This Saturday, exclusive full match commentary of Newcastle United versus Fulham.
What a turn, what a goal!
Coverage from 2:30, kick-off 3 p.m. on Talksport 2.
On DAB+, online, via the Talksport app and on your smart speaker.
Oh, what a finish!
The Europa League live on Talksport 2.
You're listening to FCSB 0, Manchester United 0 on Talksport 2, brought to you by TNT Sports, the home of European football. And with just 4 days to go in the January transfer window, it's set to be a busy one for the Red Devils. It's understood United have agreed a deal upwards of £29 million for Lecce fullback Patrick Dorgu. So what should United fans expect from the Dane? Here's our European football expert, Kevin Hatchard.
At the age of 20, Patrick Dorgu has already crammed a lot in to his short career. He's made over 50 appearances for Italian club Lecce since making his debut for them in August 2023. He's also played 4 times for his native Denmark. However, he is still raw and inexperienced. He started off as a left back and then a change of coach at Lecce saw him tried out as a right winger. He's shown promise in both positions, but primarily he looks better as a left back or a left wing back. His dynamism and athleticism allow him to get up and down the flank, but he's very much a player who needs good coaching to develop, and he's somebody that wouldn't necessarily hit the ground running at a huge club like Manchester United.
So Dorgu's Manchester United career is just about to get started. But what about that of Marcus Rashford? The sideline forward who came through United's academy has been the subject of much scrutiny, with United manager Ruben Amorim going as far as to say that he'd prefer to put United's 63-year-old goalkeeper coach on the bench instead of their academy poster boy. I sat down with United fans Flex, Angelina Kelly and Red Devils legend Paul Parker earlier this week for TalkSport's Inside Devils podcast to suggest where Rashford and the club may go from here.
I'm with him. I'm with the manager on what he's done now. During my career, managers spoke up about every player. They was asked a question, if that player wasn't doing it, they would say it. And the way life was then, it was up to you as a player how you dealt with that criticism. And someone would come up and say, I can handle criticism.
Because he said that in the Players' Tribe Room interview, didn't he?
Yeah.
I can deal with it.
Yeah, no, but be honest, it takes a hell of a to deal with it. And the only way you can deal with it is by actions, not by words. 100%. And you have to go and prove a point. He hasn't proved a point yet. And then on the other side of him coming back into the dressing room, I remember an incident with a player while I was at Manchester United, and he got told by Brian Robson what to do with his problem. And obviously a few other words were said, but he virtually told him, your problem is not in here, your problem is upstairs. So if you can't deal with it upstairs, do not bring it down here. So he should be, if he's there, he should train with the players. Nothing wrong with it, unless he's doing something. But until such time he understands that football is not an individual sport, then he's going to have a problem.
Do you think it's odd that he's still training with them? Because if Ruben Amorim's saying his attitude's this bad that you're not getting him a matchday squad, you're not part of what I'm trying to do here. I'm not liking your attitude. Do you worry, or do you have any issue with the fact that he's still allowed to be in first team training and what sort of impact that's having on the rest of the squad? He's still
giving him a chance. He's offering the opportunity, because it's quite easy, as before, what managers would do. They're afraid of reserves, or they say, go and train with the youth team. But he's saying, you can show me that you're still with them. I'll keep you with the lads until such time you're not going to be with them. Because at the end of the day, do you want that infection to go down to the ones who are still chasing that opportunity to be with those good pros? The answer to that one, you know yourself. You don't. So it might come to the point of saying, stay away from Carrington.
If he stays, should that happen?
If he ain't going to change his ways, you're going to have to send him away. Is it going to affect his pricing? Yeah, it will affect it. Slightly, because the damage has been done already. Everyone around the world knows it. Now, if you're Barcelona, if you're AC Milan, all being talked about, as a fan, would you want your football club to bring in a player who hasn't respected his his club, his local team, the club he's been with since he was a kid. Would you want that player in your football club? And I think as a fan, you don't really want it that way, Fleck.
Strong views as ever from former Manchester United double-winning defender Paul Parker. He joined myself, Flex, and Angelina Kelly on this week's episode of the Inside Devils podcast, available on your YouTube streams and on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcast every Tuesday afternoon. He was basically saying there, Leanne, Paul, that Marcus Rashford, if he does stay beyond 11 o'clock on Monday, as he's looking more and more likely, then he should be banished from first team training and from the dressing room. Strong opinions. What's your view on it?
I mean, I think that's the reality of the situation. I think you look at the Jadon Sancho under Eric Ten Hag, there was moments where he was training out in the Netherlands and he looked like Eric Ten Hag was trying to help him out. I think it's a difficult one with Rashford because I think it splits people's opinions, doesn't it? Because everyone's talking about, oh, there's a player in there. Some people would have also selected him for England, and I was thinking, what? Under what standards? So I agree with what Paul Parker's saying. It's difficult because you look at the wages, but that's Manchester United. They are the ones that have made these decisions to pay these mediocre players that don't deserve that much money. And look at someone like Bruno, who's getting paid way less than someone like Marcus Rashford. You'd be fuming if you were Bruno Fernandes. It gives everything. Been at the club for 5 years. So, I mean, I just don't... There's no way back for Marcus Rashford at Manchester United. There's no denying that. And I think for someone like Ruben Amorim, I think he's handled the situation in an admirable way. He's been asked about, and this will continue, won't it? Not going away.
Absolutely. One of the stumbling blocks, and we reported this on the Talksport website this afternoon, is that Marcus Rashford's advisors have told those clubs who may be interested that under no circumstances, as we understand it, is he willing to take a pay cut. Should he do that in terms of, you know, reducing his demands to ensure that he goes out and plays some football in the second half of the season?
I think if you're asking this question 10 years ago, yes. I think in modern day football, no. Just look at John Duran. He's gone over to Saudi Arabia. No one expected that to be the case. And you're looking at the amount of money that they have in football. I mean, Marcus Rashford, he's got 2 or 3 years left on his contract.
2028, I think.
So, you know, therefore it's like the amount of money he's going to make, and he'll be nowhere near the team. So it's a difficult situation. I hate the fact that constantly Manchester United fans are being asked about it, talking about it, because it is a topic of conversation, but I think ultimately it comes down to really bad decision making from the club.
Well, we brought you stacks of live European football this midweek, and the live football continues across the weekend, as you'd expect, on the Talksport network. Tomorrow night, Blackburn against Preston, a Lancashire derby from the Championship, live and exclusive here on Talksport 2. That gets underway at 8 o'clock on Saturday at 12:30. We're at Nottingham Forest against Brighton, live commentary from the City Ground. That's on Talksport. At the same time here on Talksport 2, it's Plymouth against West Brom from the Championship at 3 o'clock on Talksport 2. Newcastle Fulham live and exclusive from the Premier League. And then on Monday night, game night returns live on Talksport. It's Chelsea against West Ham in a London derby. And we've got an all North East affair here on Talksport 2. Middlesbrough against Sunderland. 2 teams going great guns at the top end of the Championship. A reminder, over on Talksport 2 at half-time this evening, it is Rangers 0, it's Tottenham 0, Elfsborg 0. Rangers leading Union Saint-Galois in their Europa League game by a goal to 0. Manchester United 0-0 in Bucharest against FCSB. It means Manchester United, as it stands, going into the round of 16, in 4th place in the league phase. Tottenham in 6th will be joining them. Rangers agonisingly just outside the top 8. That would change if Manchester United were to take the lead in Romania, because Rangers are just a point behind FCSB and they do have a superior goal difference. So lots still to be determined in the second half. We are waiting for the return of the 2 teams. Would you expect Ruben Amorim to go to his bench this early in proceedings?
I'd like to think so. I mean, I think he's not shy of making decisions when it really matters, but I expect after 5-10 minutes Garnacho to come on and Ahmad to come on in this game. I think they can make a massive impact. I think the spaces are there. We're yet to see somebody pick up the ball and take a player on. I know Malacia's game isn't doing that, but the space is out wide on the left-hand side. They're not capitalising on that. Apart from one opportunity, where, to be fair to Malacia, he put a really good ball into the box, but they're not getting bodies into the box, and I think their movement is quite static, because when the players are looking up, like when Eriksen's looking up, they're already standing in there. We're not standing in there going player like side by side against the centre-back. So then where's the space? So I think an impact substitution looks like it could be happening now, to be fair.
Yeah, we'll get news of that change in a moment. I was just going to ask you if FCSB might be a bit more anxious to get the ball forward in this second half, knowing that if Bodo Glimt were to take the lead against Nice over in France, that would drop them out of the top 8. It's 0-0 at this moment in time. And also knowing Ajax against Galatasaray, 1-0 to Ajax in that game. If that was to change, then again, Galatasaray could be in a position to knock FCSB out of the top 8. And as I mentioned towards the end of the first half, I think the more anxious FCSB get for a goal, that might just leave gaps in behind for United to exploit.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm always intrigued by the manager's team talk, because when you're playing in these types of games where there's permutations, you can't really hear all that type of noise. We've seen in football stadiums sometimes when teams start cheering, you know, when it's the last game of the season, because they hear whispers around another team scoring. I think for FCSB, they just need to take care of what's in front of them.
Amad Diallo is on for the second half. Toby Collier is the player sacrifice, which feels in some ways a little bit harsh, but Kobbie Mainoo now will drop back into the more deep-lying midfield role. Amad will go into one of the number 10 positions. That's not the only Manchester United alteration. Alejandro Garnacho is on as well, and he has replaced Tyrell Malacia. So we're going to see Garnacho seemingly as left wing back, or could Amad go there and Garnacho plays in the number 10? We'll try and work that out in the next few moments, but certainly a double change from Ruben Amorim at half-time, and two players who can come on and certainly inject that much needed pace as we get back underway in the second half.
Yeah, I like that from Ruben Amorim, and I think sometimes we saw early on in the season when he put Casemiro and Eriksen together, he does things that I think that not that managers do think the fans want, but everybody could see they could never play together again. They had no legs in the midfield, and they never have played together again. So I think these types of substitutions is what this game is crying out for. I thought Malacia was really poor in that first half. To be fair to Collier, I don't think he had a bad game, but I think this substitution was always on the cards.
A change for FCSB at half-time as well. Baba Al-Hassan has come on, replacing Malcolm Ejuma in midfield. Al-Hassan is a Ghanaian midfielder, so he is on for the second half. I'll run you through the Manchester United revised lineup in a moment. We've played a minute since half-time. It is still goalless, and it looks actually as if Amad Diallo is now the right wing-back for Manchester United. Dalot has come over to the left-hand side, with Mazraoui, De Ligt and Martinez at the heart of the defence in front of Bayindu, the goalkeeper, Eriksen and Mainoo in midfield, with Fernandes and Garnacho, who's in possession now. Garnacho, and he's on the edge of the penalty area, and he's hit the outside of the post. What an opportunity. Rasmus Højlund, the lone striker for United, playing in Garnacho on the edge of the area, and he was almost one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It was a mistake actually in the FCSB backline. He's beaten the goalkeeper, who came quickly off his line. Garnacho with a left-footed effort, but he's beaten the post as well. 0-0.
See, I love Garnacho, and I'll be gutted if he ends up leaving, but I think he has to put that in the back of the net. That's an example of when he gets into those areas, his final product has to be better. We know he's going to get an assist. He got the assist against Arsenal when he pulled the ball back, but I think in those moments, that's what separates the good to the great. You put it away in front of goal, have that composure.
Nonetheless, it's a big opportunity for Manchester United early in the second half. After an opening 45 minutes when Mainoo's missed a part, they really struggled to create too much at all. 48 on the clock, 0-0, as Garnacho comes forward down the left again. Good skills by Garnacho to keep the ball in play in a tight area, finds Bruno Fernandes. Now Eriksen, already more urgency about this Manchester United team early in the second half. Mazraoui switches the play to Amad. Amad running at Radovonic, and he's going to get the cross in here, right footed towards Højlund. Important intervention by Gazana, and Manchester United have what I think is the first corner of the evening.
And look at the difference. The space was there for Malacia. There was so much space in the first half, and now Amad's come on, showed great creativity, fearlessness, getting down that right hand side, and now he's got a corner. That's the type of positivity I'm talking about, Crookie.
0-0 in Romania, but a corner for Manchester United to be taken by Amad Diallo, one of their two half-time replacements. Garnacho on as well. Amad with the in-swinging delivery on the goalkeeper's flapped at it, and it almost went straight in. It's behind for a goal kick. The referee has penalised Mainoo for a foul on the goalkeeper, but I think he's very fortunate there. Stefan Ternuvanu, not sure there was much of a foul by Mainoo. He's just flapped to the corner, and it could have gone anywhere.
That is not a foul, and it'll be interesting to see, because if that would have gone in the back of the net, it was a really good ball in from Amad Diallo, and it was poor from the keeper. He's got away with one there because Kobbie Mainoo did absolutely nothing on the goalkeeper. He just flapped it in.
49 played, FCSB 0, Manchester United 0. Stefan Ternuvanu has got the second most clean sheets in this season's Europa League, but he didn't cover himself in glory there. Certainly much more purpose about Manchester United since the half-time pearls of wisdom from Ruben Amorim, and since those changes have been made. A reminder over on Talksport, Tottenham 0, Elfsborg 0. Enough for Tottenham at the moment to retain their place in the top 8, but again, that could change if Bodo Glimt or Galatasaray were to take the lead in their respective matches. So anxiety there as the goalkeeper passes it straight to Garnacho almost, but it's one back by Popescu, the right side centre-back for FCSB. They've lost only 3 of their last 22 home group games in this competition. Currently second in the Romanian league. And they're coming forward down their left-hand side with Radu Vonic, and he's won a corner off Mazraoui. First corner the home side have been given this evening.
And as we know, Manchester United are really poor on corners, so it'll be interesting to see. They're obviously going to put it straight into that area.
It's going to be Florin Tanasi who comes over to take it. Manchester United with defending to be done here. 6 minutes gone in the second half. 0-0 on Talksport 2. Alejandro Garnacho, fresh off the bench at half-time, has already hit the outside of the post. Here comes the corner. It's going to be a right-footed delivery and cleared away by Eriksson. And Martinez unceremoniously just boots it clear for the white shirts. United attacking from right to left in this second half. Tanasi plays it down the line to his captain's suit. He's offside. It's a free kick for United in the right back position. It stays goalless.
I think if Garnacho puts that in the back of the net 1 minute into the second half, I think this game changes completely. I think if Manchester United were to get 1 goal, they'd get 2 or 3. We've seen Rangers beat this side 4-0, but Manchester United just having a hard time breaking them down in the first half. I think Amad and Garnacho coming into this second half will really create a lot of space. But then at the same time, we just saw Manchester United nearly got countered down the other end.
You'd expect a more open game as maybe players get leg weary. And that pressure, scoreboard pressure of maybe not being acutely aware of exactly what's happening elsewhere in the competition tonight. All of the games kicking off at 8 o'clock. Still lots of jeopardy. Eriksson playing it forward towards Kobbie Mainoo. Amad Diallo trying to win it back after Gazana stepped in and cleared it away. It's up towards Baligia on halfway, but Mainoo wins it back inside the FCSB half. Garnacho has taken up the number 9 position as Højlund drops deep into midfield, and he tries to toe poke it out to the right. And Amad Diallo, I think he was maybe expecting a free kick there, Højlund, for a foul. Not given. The referee has tried to let the game flow where he can. Here's Martinez, the pint-sized South American, out to Garnacho, his fellow Argentine. Tries a couple of step overs. Garnacho draws the foul from Popescu, and a free kick for Manchester United. And an opportunity to swing the ball into the penalty area. 0-0.
Good from Garnacho. This is a really fantastic position from the left-hand side. Put a lot of power on the ball. We could see in the first half, Popescu makes that foul. He probably should have scored in the first half when the opportunity came to him from about 7 yards out. But I like this from Garnacho. Players that are willing to get on the ball. They don't hide away. They're willing to, if they lose the ball, that's okay. They recover it back. I think Manchester United this second half are pressing a little bit higher and have a little bit more about them when it comes to the pace.
Sent the defenders forward from the back. De Ligt, always a danger in the air. Dallo lurking on the edge of the 18-yard box as well. And Sandro Martinez, who's got a couple of goals already this season at Anfield in the Premier League and at Fulham last weekend as well. Eriksson with the delivery, flicked on by Martinez, and De Ligt was flying in there. Couldn't make contact. He's behind for a goal kick.
To be fair, Martinez did really well there. You could see he didn't really want that. It was really under hit from Eriksson. This ball has to go in and around, you know. And there wasn't much power on it at all. And you can see De Ligt was very, very close. Good second man run in there. Just couldn't quite convert it and get on the end of it.
54 minutes played. FCSB 0, Manchester United 0. United unbeaten in their last 6 away games in the group stage of the Europa League since losing to Astana back in 2019. They won this competition under Jose Mourinho in 2017 to complete the full house of major European trophies, and were runners-up 4 years later after that never-ending penalty shootout against Unai Emery's Villarreal. They are the joint favourites, them and Tottenham, with the bookmakers to go all the way this year. Spurs 0-0 with Elfsborg over on Talksport. United goalless here as well as Garnacho feels the force of the challenge from Mihai Popescu. Just got a whack in the face there, and it's going to be another Manchester United free kick 5 yards inside the FCSB half. Taken short by Lisandro Martinez, and here's Matthijs de Ligt, the Netherlands international. A little flick from Ahmad to Kobbie Mainoo, and Ahmad with a chance to run down that right-hand side, stopped in his tracks by Radovonic, and now Martinez well forward from the back. That's something we've seen a lot in recent games. Martinez coming forward to make an extra midfielder when Manchester United are in possession. It's the reason he got that deflecting winner at Craven Cottage at the weekend. Now Garnacho down the United left with little holes cut in the back of his socks to help with the circulation. We see that a lot these days. It is Matthijs de Ligt on halfway. 0-0. We played 10 minutes in the second half, but Manchester United looking a lot more bright, a lot more capable of finding those pockets of space they really couldn't in the first half. Neat little flick there by Bruno Fernandes, and a good ball into Kobbie Mainoo, who rides one challenge. He was looking to open up the pitch there for Manchester United. Referee plays an advantage because they're still in possession, the white shirts, with Eriksson right in the centre of the FCSB half. Here's Mazraoui now to his right. Mazraoui into Fernandes, trying to help it round the corner to Mainoo. Wasn't a great pass from Fernandes, and Mainoo ends up giving it away, but it's run back by Mazraoui, snapping into a challenge on the edge of the area. Fernandes, left-footed cross, headed away. It'll be kept alive by Garnacho, and Eriksson just shifts it to his left, and Martinez. Now Højlund turning inside the penalty. He got the shot away through the legs of Gazana, but easy save for Turnovanuu. 0-0. Better from Manchester United since half-time.
It is better, and I think that's the type of thing I'm looking for from Rasmus Højlund. It wasn't the greatest of strikes in the end, but he creates the opportunity, goes for goal. That's exactly what you want from your number 9. If you don't shoot, you don't score, as cliche as that sounds. But I think one thing I'm seeing in his first 10 minutes is that Bruno Fernandes is certainly higher up the pitch. He's on the edge of the 18-yard box trying to make things happen, and they certainly have that injection of pace. It's not rocket science. They brought on 2 players in Garnacho and Ahmad that are fearless when they're going 1v1, and they have pace about them. So I don't think it's not a coincidence to me that Manchester United seem to have stepped it up a little bit.
Rangers have got a second goal in that game at home to Ulian Sangawa, Vaclav Cherny. So Rangers doing their job tonight, leading by 2-0. And Olympiacos have scored as well. Olympiacos leading in the Europa League, and that is a significant goal as far as the hosts tonight are concerned, because it means FCSB dropping out of the top 8 into 9th place in the table. Bodo Glimt also ahead, and that puts a bit of pressure on Tottenham, who only via goal difference now are keeping hold of a place in the top 8. Big goals going in all around the competition. Manchester United down in 5th now behind Frankfurt. But it means FCSB are going to need to score as it stands.
Yeah, and like I said, I wonder if that's going to be communicated to these players. I think it will take probably a mistake for Manchester United if FCSB have any chance of scoring, because they haven't really looked like scoring, apart from the Popescu situation in the first half where he should have put it in the back of the net. But I think they've had a lot of the possession, Manchester United, and I certainly expect them to turn it into a goal at some point soon.
Olympiacos 1, Karabag 0, and Nice 0, Bodo Glimt 1. That's the big goal as far as FCSB are concerned. It also drops Rangers down to 10th place, despite the fact they are 2-0 up at this moment in time. Manchester United 0-0 here. If they were to win the game, then they would move above Frankfurt and Lyon into 3rd place as it stands. But a shot comes in from Daniel Baligia from a long way out. The home manager frustrated by that. It was dragged well wide of goal within 58 minutes. And we await the first goal of the evening. Manchester United back in action at home to Crystal Palace on Sunday. You'll be kept up to date with what happens there during the excellent Sunday session. Sam Matterface and Perry Groves taking you around the grounds. Here is Bruno Fernandes on the edge of his own penalty area. Martinez now carries the ball towards halfway with up to 397 Manchester United passes, just 149 for FCSB. That suggests control, but it also suggests a lot of moving the ball sideways.
And this has to be some sort of record for Manchester United, because I don't remember them having this much possession. To be fair, FCSB are not the most incredible opposition, but I think it's all about what you do with the ball and making the most of when you do have it, picking the right moments. And I think Manchester United started the game really well, similarly to this second half. They just need to try and convert this into an opportunity going towards goal. Isolate Ahmad, isolate Garnacho on the left-hand side, let them have the run into these fullbacks.
Here's Bruno Fernandes, 25 yards from goal. Shifts the ball onto his right foot. Brilliant effort off the crossbar. Would have been a worldie from Bruno Fernandes. The goalkeeper was beaten. Manchester United's captain denied by the frame of the goal.
What a strike from Bruno Fernandes. Picks his head up. He's so far out. It's almost 30 yards out.
Ericsson nods the ball down inside the box to Mainu. Dalot at the far post. Manchester United lead in Romania. Diogo Dalot has his first goal of the season, and seconds after Bruno Fernandes is denied, his countryman finds the back of the net from point-blank range, and that should be the goal that seals a place in the round of 16. It is FCSB 0, Manchester United 1. Dalot, the unlikely scorer.
Yeah, he won't score an easier goal in his career, but it's about being in the right place at the right time, tucks it away with the left foot. That was all about Bruno Fernandes' strike. Then Manchester United take a really quick set-piece throw-in from Ericsson. Ends up finding it, Ahmad plays it to Ericsson, and then Dalot is just on the back post to tuck it away. And I said it was coming. You could see the momentum was with Manchester United. And Dalot's in the right place at the right time and runs over. It's a fantastic ball in from Kobbie Mainoo. Brilliant ball. But I like the fact that Ahmad picked up the ball, took the throw, played it to Ericsson, and I've been quite complimentary of Ericsson in this game. I think he's played some really good, intricate passes, and I think Manchester United deserved that. I think they started the second half well. They're on the front foot, and fair play to Dalot being on their back post, but it was a great strike from Bruno Fernandes.
And Dalot celebrates right in front of those travelling Manchester United supporters. They have been much improved, as Leanne Sanderson was telling you there, since half-time, and they've got the goal they deserve. And well, you wonder now, could they go on and win handsomely? It's not really been the way under Ruben Amorim, but Dalot breaking the deadlock, and all change again at the top of the table. Manchester United up to third, and FCSB find themselves in 10th. Good news for Rangers, who lead by 2-0. Spurs still in 7th at the moment, 0-0 against Elfsborg over on Talksport right now. Manchester United closing in potentially on 3 straight wins for the first time since they lifted the FA Cup back in May.
It's amazing what can happen. You look at the December that Manchester United had, the worst in history, 6 losses during that time. And like I said, Crookie, no one's getting carried away, but I think it's all about getting the results and seeing the type of style Ruben Amorim's trying to play.
Here's Ericsson, midway inside the FCSB half, flicked on by Mainoo. Suddenly confidence oozing through these Manchester United players' veins. Garnacho has made an impact since coming on. More direct, asking more questions of the home defence, and he rolls it into Ericsson. Back to Garnacho, brought down on the edge of the area. Referee plays on as Kobbie Mainoo skips over a couple of challenges. Ericsson to Fernandes, cleverly done by the captain, couldn't quite hold it up. Picked up again by Ericsson, 30 yards from goal. He's got Mazraoui to his right. Mazraoui forward to Amad Diallo. Diallo will come infield on his left foot and then into the path of Fernandes. It's almost nonchalant now from Manchester United the way they're passing this ball around. Martinez forward over halfway. They lead by 1-0, Amorim's side. Fernandes into Garnacho. Really important slide challenge from Gazana. He had to get that right, or A, Garnacho was in, or B, he would have brought him down for a penalty. Still 1-0 United. Ericsson forward to Garnacho. Can't win the header, and Cretu with a chance to clear. He's fouled by the goalscorer Dalot, and it's a free kick for FCSB deep inside their own half of the field. You're listening to Europa League Live as Beligia comes forward, shoots from distance off the underside of the crossbar. The goalkeeper beaten, and then the header from Tanasi wide. Oh, Manchester United inches away from conceding. It was a power-packed effort from Beligia, and he can't quite believe it stayed out.
What a strike from Beligia, but the worst part about this is Tanasi has to put that in the back of the net. He has to put that in the back of the net. This must have been really close, Belegia's strike, because it looked like it bounced down, and it was fantastic. It was a great strike. We saw Belegia try this moment about 10 minutes ago, and it was well far out. This is a great strike.
I think Tanasi probably would have been offside.
It's a poor miss, though, isn't it, from
It's a
Tanasi?
terrible miss with a header. What an opportunity to at least give the VAR officials the decision to make. It stays 1-0, and the goalkeeper Bayinda is relieved because he was nowhere near the initial effort. Just a warning sign for Manchester United that a 1-0 scoreline is a dangerous one. As Fernandes finds Garnacho, he's got Højlund to his right, screaming for the pass. Garnacho just held on to it a second too long. He tried to take on the extra defender, forced him wide, and by the time he tried to cut the cross back, it was cleared. And maybe that's the decision making that Ruben Amorim needs the Argentine to improve. First time pass was on to Højlund, he was screaming for it.
It was, and by the time he kept hold of it, the moments are gone, and I think he got caught in two minds. He was going to take it on himself and strike it, then he got caught in two minds, and Højlund had already made his run. But I want to give Alejandro Garnacho a lot of praise, because I think you look at one player like Marcus Rashford, him and Marcus Rashford would question their attitude, and they weren't applying themselves. Alejandro Garnacho, I'm sure it wasn't easy for him, but he's gone away, and he's like come back almost better in a weird way, like mentally. You can see that the fans are still singing his name, and that's all you want, a reaction from the player. And I think Manchester United need these players like Garnacho and Ahmad in order to be successful.
Fernandes on to Martinez. Well forward, Martinez fires goalwards, blocked on the edge of the area, kept alive by Garnacho. He's into the box. He's driven the cross along the 6-yard line, maybe just too much power on it, with Højlund and Mainu lurking, and in the end it goes out of play tamely for a throw on the opposite side of the field.
What a ball that is. You know, I used to hate it when wingers used to just play the ball in, and everyone would say, why is the forward not on the end of it? In those moments, can you imagine if Ruben Nistelrooy was playing for Manchester United? He'd have been on the front post tapping it in, or a Berbatov. It was a great ball in. Absolutely brilliant ball.
And just watching a replay of the effort at the other end, Belegia denied by the crossbar. It was one of those incidents where it could easily have hit the bar, hit the diving Bayinda, the goalkeeper, and bounced in as an own goal. Manchester United fortuitous. They lead 1-0, and you are listening to FCSB against Manchester United on Talksport 2, brought to you by TNT Sports, the home of European football. We're going to see another change here. Baluta is coming on for FCSB, and it's a change down the right-hand side. Valentin Cretu is so fresh legs. Actually, I think that's a reflection of the fact that Cretu has had a lot more defending to do in this second half since the changes that Ruben Amorim made than he did in the first period.
Yeah, I think Cretu's had a decent game, to be fair. In the first half, he was getting into those areas, he was getting forward, and you're right, Crookie, I think with Ahmad and Garnacho coming into this game, and it's pretty obvious to me that Manchester United need at least Ahmad or Garnacho on the pitch. One of them has to be on to inject that type of speed of play and that directness.
Olympiacos have doubled their lead against Karabakh. They lead by 2-0. They are strengthening their grip on those top 8 places. That's more bad news for FCSB. Still 0-0 between Tottenham and Elfsborg, as Ajax also go 2-0 up against Galatasaray. And Anderlecht 4-1 down at home to Hoffenheim. That's significant for Spurs, because if Anderlecht were to win that game and they don't beat Elfsborg, they too could drop out of the top 8. As it stands, both United and Spurs going straight into the round of 16. United 1-0 up here with 68 minutes played. Diogo Dalot, the goal, tapping in at the far post after a really good Manchester United move. They've also seen Bruno Fernandes hit the crossbar in this second half. Much more energy after a lacklustre first half from United in this second period so far.
I think we'll also probably see Lenny Yoro come into this game as well. We know Ruben Amorim likes to tinker with that back line area. I expect him to come into this game. It's weird because most coaches don't ever make changes in the back line unless there's an injury. But I think in the system that Ruben Amorim plays, he likes to make those changes.
Garnacho has been excellent since coming on. Holds the ball up for Fernandes. Dalot, the goal scorer, forward, but his ball towards Mainu is intercepted. He's running back though, Dalot, and then Højlund into Mainu. Here's Garnacho inside the area again. Cuts it back for Mainu! It's 2-0 to Manchester United, and after Dalot scored his first goal of the season to break the deadlock. Mainu scores his first goal since the FA Cup final to send Manchester United into the last 16. With 22 minutes to play, it is FCSB 0, Manchester United 2.
Brilliant play from Garnacho down this left-hand side, and he's so good at pulling the ball back. Kobbie Mainoo had a similar one in the first half, a little bit further out where he's quite erratic, hits it over the bar. Really good play again from Dalot as well to win the ball back. Kobbie Mainoo actually starts to play, plays it out to Garnacho, and it's a lovely composed finish. But this is all about Garnacho. Since he's come into this game, we talk a lot about Ahmad and the impact he's made on this team, but I think Garnacho, like I said, Crookie pre-game, I'll be gutted if Manchester United lose him in this transfer window, because I still think there's a player in there. He's nowhere near his best yet, but I think he loves playing for Manchester United, and you can see he comes in and he makes an impact, and that's exactly what you want your substitutes to do. And I think Kobbie Mainoo, I'm delighted that he's got on the score sheet as well, because under Ruben Amorim, he hasn't really had much playtime.
Little fist bump of celebration for Lisandro Martinez as Kobbie Mainoo jumps on the back of Garnacho. And that's what Manchester United fans want to see. Two of their homegrown heroes, two of their academy products linking up to surely seal a valuable victory in Romania. And all the talk of United due to PSR restrictions, maybe having to cash in on one or both of those. Well, those travelling Manchester United fans making their feelings abundantly clear. They want them to stay. And as Leanne was saying, Garnacho has made a real difference since coming on at half-time. Two more changes afoot for United. Lenny Yoro, as predicted, and Casemiro, who hasn't played at all in 2025, are coming on.
You know what, Casemiro, fair play to Casemiro, because this is somebody that's won everything at the highest level, and you don't see him throwing his toys out the pram, and it must be quite hard for him.
That's a great ball by Martinez. Scoops it over the top of the FCSB backline. Dalot forced wide as he brought it under control, but still finds Fernandes on the edge of the area. Here's Mainoo now. Mainoo into the box, just held off, and the ball is knocked behind by Popescu for another Manchester United corner. 71 gone. They lead by 2-0, and here come the changes. It is Lenny Yoro for Lisandro Martinez. Yoro, who only made his Europa League debut in that win against Rangers last weekend, is going to get the final, last week I should say, is going to get the final quarter of this match. And Casemiro, much more experience when it comes to European football, is replacing Christian Eriksen.
Again, I was saying it must be quite difficult for Casemiro to see someone like Toby Collier getting the start in this game, a 21-year-old. But like I said, fair play to Casemiro, because he's nowhere near the levels that he used to be at, but he still is hungry, and I expect him to potentially go out on loan or have a permanent move during this window. I think Eriksen's had an excellent game. Martinez has been excellent as well. And Lenny Yoro, I think, hasn't played anywhere near as much as people probably would have expected, because Harry Maguire and De Ligt have been so good.
Here comes the corner for Manchester United, looking for a third to absolutely seal the deal. Fernandes towards the far post. Højlund just not on his toes, is it? The ball scoots away and behind for a goal kick. It's been another frustrating evening so far for Rasmus Højlund, and we're just seeing on the monitor how animated Amorim was as a half-decent opportunity went begging.
That's the things you like to see, though, that passion and that hunger. I'm surprised Xerxes hasn't come into this game, but the thing about Ruben Amorim, what he's trying to do is he's trying to play Rasmus Højlund in these moments to try and get that goal. We know he scored 5 in this tournament already, and he's joint top goal scorer. But in this game tonight, there hasn't really been many opportunities for him to put the ball in the back of the net, but then he has to offer something else. And I think, you know, you can flip a coin between him and Josh Xerxes to a certain degree. And I know there's a lot of links to other players, but you know, I'd be trying to get Evan Ferguson during this window, like a player that can do, when he first burst on the scene with Brighton, now he's being linked to Bayer Leverkusen. Why don't Manchester United try and get him?
Well, half the Premier League are trying to sign Evan Ferguson on loan, and the latest information I received yesterday is that Brighton probably are going to loan him out. I think you're right in terms of a hold-up player, the type of striker that Ruben Amorim is looking to build the play-off. Then maybe Ferguson wouldn't be the worst shout in the world. You are listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. 2-0 to the good United. Second half goals from Dalot and from Mainoo. Means they are 17 minutes away from wrapping up a place in the round of 16, and no need to worry about that potential playoff in a couple of weeks' time. Manchester United up to 3rd in the table, behind Athletic Bilbao and Lazio, the top 2. A big goal over on Talksport. Tottenham nerves less frayed now. They lead Elfsborg by a 1-0. Dane Scarlett, one of their youngsters, has come up with that goal. Tottenham up to 5th in the table. Rangers, who lead 2-0 against Union St Gallois in the Europa League, have just moved into the top 8. Literally, the table changed before my eyes because Bodo Glimt have conceded. So Rangers now have that final place straight into the round of 16. So a good night for all 3 British teams as it stands.
That's crazy. And imagine if Jack Butler did throw the ball in the back of the net last week, it would have been a completely different story.
Certainly would. Big goal that for Manchester United as they beat Rangers by 2-1. And they are looking here to preserve one of only 2 unbeaten records in the Europa League this season, despite the fact they had a couple of disappointing performances early on in the competition, contributing to the departure of Erik ten Hag. Still yet to lose a game. With 15 minutes to go, barring a collapse here, that run is going to continue.
Yeah, and it looks good. I mean, in this competition, the Europa League, like I said, people expect the English teams to always run away with it. There's other teams, obviously the new format this year. Last year we saw teams drop out of the Champions League into the Europa League, and they provided that strong opposition. But I think Manchester United this year, there's no reason, depending on who they get in the round of 16, why they can't go on to win this. And I think the fact they're now going to go through without playing 2 extra games, Ruben Amorim speaks a lot about having the players longer for training to try and implement his style and what he wants to do.
Gallo, scorer of the all-important opening goal tonight. The throw-in on halfway, gets it back from Mainu. Dallo raiding down the left again. He swapped flanks at half-time, but he's seen a lot of the ball in the second half, arguably more than he did in the first. Garnacho, I think, also has proved his point since coming on, and there's a lot of Manchester United fans who won't want to be hearing about him leaving between now and 11 o'clock on Monday as we bring you our regular transfer updates across the Talksport network. Still interest from the likes of Napoli and from Chelsea. Both those trails do seem to have gone a little bit cold in recent days. Here's Mazraoui. Going to thrust the ball forward to Amad Diallo. It's out play for a Manchester United throw, 20 yards or so inside the FCSB half. They lead 2-0, Ruben Amorim's side.
Yeah, I'll be gutted, Crookie, if he ends up. If he was to go to Chelsea, if they're going to sell him, I don't want them to sell him anyway, but if they're going to, he can go abroad, to Napoli. But I think if he was in a Chelsea shirt, that would really, I'd find that quite hard.
Casemiro thought about just playing the long ball forward there to Amad Diallo. He's found Bruno Fernandes, and play is going to be stopped because there is a pitch invader as FCSB prepared to make another couple of changes. Looked like he had an autograph put in his hand there as he ran on from the stands. The home manager shakes his head in frustration because, of course, time is no longer on the Romanian side. These changes are about to be made with 14 minutes to play. Stefanescu, one of the players coming on, Marius Stefanescu and Musi as well. Didn't see much of David Milescu in this second half, and he is one of the players who will be sacrificed.
Yeah, I think, they've had a couple of opportunities. Popescu in the first half, Belegia as well with that one opportunity to rattle the crossbar. But other than that, Manchester United have been in full control. We spoke about the passes they've made, and I think a lot of them were sideways. But what I will say is in the second half, the injection of pace from Amad and Garnacho. Amad hasn't actually had much of the ball, but what I mean by the injection of pace, he's stretching them, and they have to have one eye behind them looking at where Amad was. I think Malacia in the first half was getting the ball but wasn't really making the right opportunities.
Here's Bruno Fernandes, edge of the penalty area, forward to Rasmus Højlund. Amad on the overlap when maybe Højlund could have gone for goal. He plays in Amad, the offside flag is up, and it will be a free kick. They've changed both wide forwards there in that last double substitution. Have FCSB, Stefanescu and Musi on, Milescu and Tanasi replaced. Tanasi missed that header after the effort from Belegia. The cannon off the underside of the crossbar. United were only a goal up then. Mainu winning it back on the edge of the area. Here's Højlund. Can he pull it back for Garnacho? He went for goal, Rasmus Højlund, from the tightest of angles, and he slammed his right foot shot into the side netting.
The thing is, you want your number 9 in those moments to be selfish and take the opportunity on, but I think he had to have in his head already is a poor giveaway from the FCSB centre-back, definitely. And Højlund here has to just roll it across goal. Garnacho return the favour of what Garnacho did to Kobbie Mainoo, but Højlund only had one thing in his mind here, and to be able to get this in from this angle, it's a poor effort in the end. He has to go across goal, and I think one thing Ruben Amorim needs to work on with these front players, one, their decision making to a certain degree, he can't make the decision for them, but their telepathy between each other is really bad. It's like Højlund makes a run, then Garnacho runs around him, Ahmad then runs, they're offside, and their combinations between each other is just quite off.
Frankfurt have gone 2-0 down away from home in Rome against Roma. That moves Tottenham up to 4th in the table. Manchester United in 3rd, Rangers in 8th place. On goal difference, they're ahead of Bodo Glimt, FCSB and Anderlecht. Anderlecht 4-1 down, so they're not going to come back. FCSB won't come back here, you wouldn't have thought. Bodo Glimt 1-1 against Nice. If they were to score again, Rangers would drop out the automatic qualification place. That's how tight it is at the top end of the table. That's what UEFA wanted when they rebranded and extended the competition.
Yeah, I think these things take a little while, because sometimes in football we don't like change, do we? Like, it's almost like when you used to be able to like pass the ball back to the goalkeeper and they could pick it up, it took a little while for that to catch on. Same from the centre spot, now you can go backwards, forwards. But I think, I'm not quite sure if I enjoy the new format. It might take a little bit of time, but I think if Manchester United were to go on to win this competition, I might have a different opinion at the fact that teams are not, dropping down into it. But I think I'd still like the old format of the group stages, I do.
Interesting change this. Rasmus Højlund is replaced by Joshua Zirkzee for Manchester United. And I wonder, is that a reaction from Ruben Amorim to the poor decision-making potentially when Højlund took on the shot and he should have cut it back for Garnacho?
I mean, he's given him long enough, 80 minutes, and I think as a centre-forward, when I played in that position, there's games where you haven't performed to your levels, but I think this is Rasmus Højlund's level. I think this is the player that he is. I'm not saying that he can't improve, he's still young, but from what I'm seeing, I don't really see a player in there, Cookie.
He's scored 7 goals this season, 5 of them have come in Europe, but hasn't been able to add to that tally tonight. Stefanescu off the bench fires straight into the arms of Bayindur. United now can come forward. It's 4 against 3. Garnacho picks up the ball, switches it from left to right, finds Ahmad on the edge of the area. Ahmad looking for Fernandes in the centre, almost came for Dalot as FCSB frantically get the ball clear. It's going to be another Manchester United corner, and that is the issue as the home side look to try and get back in the game. Suddenly the space will appear, and Manchester United almost exploiting it and carving an opportunity of a 3rd goal. As it stays 2-0 to the visitors.
Yeah, I like that play. It was lovely back heels from Dalot and Bruno Fernandes, and it switched out from Ahmad in those positions, and Garnacho did a really good job as well.
Bruno Fernandes to take it, left hand side. It's going to be a right-footed delivery. Zirkzee makes the dart to the near post. It is over the head of Lenny Yoro. Mazraoui puts it back into the penalty area. Cleared as far as Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes with the outside of the foot crosses into the box. Cleared to Ahmad this time, and he finds Mazraoui. It's been a really good second half performance from Manchester United after quite a laboured opening 45 minutes. The lick back towards Mazraoui on halfway. Here's Fernandes, the captain. Little slide rule pass into Kobbie Mainoo. Zirkzee, I'm sure he was trying there on the edge of the area. He's won a corner, more by luck than judgment. As he tried to pass it back in the box, he put far too much weight on it, hits the defender and goes behind for another United set piece. 2-0 they lead.
That was quite fortunate there, because you'd like to see Josh Zirkzee take the ball out of his feet and get a strike off. But I think Garnacho and Ahmad, what they've had the ability to do is everyone else has raised their game now, because these 2 players have come in. Bruno Fernandes looks so much more comfortable in this second half, getting on the ball into those areas. In the first half he didn't.
Ahmad Diallo, left-footed delivery. Zirkzee with a header over the crossbar, 6 yards out. He was maybe facing away from the goal, but it was a good delivery. Just couldn't quite squeeze at the right side of the post.
Yeah, good ball in again from Ahmad. It was difficult for Zirkzee. He was already past the front post to be able to guide it back on the frame of the goal.
So United finishing 3rd, Tottenham finishing 4th, Rangers occupying the final automatic spot as FCSB come forward. That's a good save by Bayindur. It was Baluta, the substitute, snapshot, right-footed, made himself big, the United goalkeeper, and turns it behind for a corner.
Yeah, good save from Binder, but I'd expect the goalkeeper, the height of it from Beluta was it was at the goalkeeper's height. It was a really good ball through, and it was a decent save in the end.
Again, a warning sign, though, that this game is not quite won yet. It's their first shot on target, FCSB. It's taken into the 83rd minute. Of course, the effort against the underside of the bar doesn't count. It's a poor effort from Radovonic from 25 yards out, sweeps his left-footed shot wide, and United have 7 minutes plus stoppage time to navigate. You're listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever the mission, home or away. Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. United closing in on a third straight victory, the opportunity to make it 4 in a row at home to Palace in the Premier League this upcoming weekend. Then the focus will turn to the FA Cup at home to Leicester. Gilt-edged opportunity against Ruud van Nistelrooy's side to progress in that competition. So despite the fact it's been a really difficult campaign, still all to play for between now and May.
Definitely, and I think Ruud van Nistelrooy playing against Manchester United will be quite emotional for him probably, because he did a fantastic job in the games that he was in charge. The 5 games he was in charge, Man United looked good, but I understand also why Manchester United didn't keep him on, because I think Ruben Amorim would have always had Van Nistelrooy almost in the shadows.
Great ball by Casemiro, switches the play out to the right, and Kobbie Mainoo is really taking the game by the scruff of the neck in this second half. Into Ahmad, back to Mainoo, trying to return it to Ahmad, but it would have been a lovely piece of interplay, but it's intercepted, and it stays 2-0. The goals for United from Dalot and Mainoo in this second half. Spurs 1-0 up over on Talksport against Elfsborg. Rangers 2 goals to the good against Union Saint-Galois. All 3 will be going straight into the round of 16 as it stands elsewhere tonight in this Europa League. It's been a really professional job from Manchester United as Tottenham get a second actually over on Talksport, and another of their youngsters, Ajayi, has sealed the win against Elfsborg. Some respite for Ange Postecoglou. Their season's still very much alive as well. United have the ball deep inside their own half with De Ligt. He will just slow the tempo down, and really just a case of managing the game now and exploiting any opportunities that come their way as FCSB look for a route back into proceedings. Fernandes can't hold the ball up inside the home half of the field. It's play forward to Moussi, looking for Baligia in the centre, but intercepted by De Ligt. They've only kept 1 clean sheet in 14 coming into this one. Manchester United, they're looking to make it 2 in 2 games, and signs defensively that Ruben Amorim's message is starting to be taken heed of.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the team selection against Crystal Palace at the weekend, because I think the midfield, Kobbie Mainoo, I think has been excellent in this game, and Ugarte I expect to go back in there. I'd like to see Ugarte, Bruno and Kobbie playing in those positions. I think it could work in those areas, and we know Ruben Amorim hasn't really played Kobbie Mainoo a lot. When he has, he's come off the bench, but I think he's done himself a lot of justice in this game tonight, as has Garnacho.
We mentioned before the game that it was a big night for Mainoo in particular, because he probably hasn't played to the levels that he would have wanted this season, hasn't played as much football since Amorim came in as he would have wanted to, certainly. I think you're right. I think he's definitely made his case to get one of those starting bursts. Amad Diallo clearly will come back into the team, you would imagine. It's a nice selection dilemma for Amorim, having left out Ahmad, Garnacho, Ugarte and Maguire tonight, as well as Onana, the goalkeeper. Of course, Marcus Rashford not making the trip to Romania either, as his future remains very much in the balance ahead of deadline day on Monday. Here's Dalot, scorer of the opener for United, into the tall figure of Joshua Zirkzee. He can't hold the ball up though, and they've got the chance to clear it here, but it's given away inside their own half. FCSB, and then Casemiro swept off his feet by the challenge of Gazana. It's a yellow card. The first FCSB booking of the evening. Dara it was, in fact.
I'll tell you what, Casemiro took this like a boss, because this was a really, really crunching tackle. And fair play to Casemiro, because he just gets straight up. It's a foul all day long. He has every right to go for it, but Casemiro just kind of gets up and gets on with it. Yellow
card then for Joyce Skimdawa, the Cameroonian, and a free kick for United, which Bruno Fernandes stands over. 88 on the clock, 2-0. United lead here on Talksport 2. Probably too far out for a shot, though. It's in a very central position. I think Fernandes is just going to try and scoop this over the top of the home defence. There's a bit of an impromptu light show going on as Fernandes finds Casemiro. He flicks it goalwards. I'm not quite sure how that didn't go in. He just couldn't quite put enough power on it, Casemiro. It was a lovely free kick from Fernandes. Spotted the run of the Brazilian. And maybe had he have played more football since the turn of the year, he might have been a bit sharper and able to get his studs through it, and it would have been 3-0 to United. As it is, Fernandes finds Garnacho. Left corner of the penalty area. Only Xerxes in the centre. Garnacho trying to shift the ball onto his right foot. Back heel to Bruno Fernandes. And his effort side-footed across the face of goal. Almost crept in at the far post. Fernandes frustrated as it stays 2-0.
We know Bruno loves a moan, and I love Bruno Fernandes, but he's blaming. I don't know what he's saying to Garnacho in that moment, because he has to put that in the back of the net.
I wonder if he's ticking off Joshua Xerxes for not continuing his run.
Maybe that's who he was talking to, because Garnacho does so well here. Picks up the ball on the left-hand side, and then Bruno Fernandes does a lovely overlap. It's a fantastic back heel. And then I have no idea what Bruno is moaning about there. He's just got to... to be fair, the goalkeeper saved it.
Comes off the keeper.
It does. It's a good save in the end.
Well, we didn't spot that, and nor did the referee, because it should have been a corner. It went for a goal kick. He booted the advertising hoardings in frustration. Bruno Fernandes. We're into the last minute. It's not going to make a difference to the outcome because they lead 2-0, but he's been in decent goal-scoring form, the captain, since the departure of Erik ten Hag, and when he feels he should have added to his tally. His Europa League record, by the way, is sensational. 21 goals, 17 assists, so 38 goal involvements in total, only 2 shy of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's record of 40. He also made his 50th Europa League appearance against Rangers last week, Fernandes. Third corner of the game for FCSB. Any goal now surely would be no more than consolation, but it's not in goal, was by Baligia, and it's saved at the near post by Bayandiri. He hasn't had a lot to do tonight, the United goalkeeper. What he has had to do, he's done well. Ball forward towards Garnacho. Sweep at keeper. He was miles off his line. Turnovanu, and he comes out and gets there ahead of Garnacho. If he didn't, Garnacho would have had an open goal to aim at. Here's Kobbie Mainoo. Fernandes brought down the edge of the box. Referee plays the advantage. Garnacho is back to goal, can't hold it up, and that will be a free kick right on the edge of the area as we move into 4 added minutes. It's FCSB 0, Manchester United 2, and now Hassan is the latest home player to get a yellow card.
You can see what Ahmad was doing there. It looked like a hit and hope ball, but he knew exactly what he was doing, and I'm laughing because Garnacho bottled that one for the keeper. I think if he'd have got there first, little touch around him, and he would have been in on goal, but I think you could see him coming out the corner of his eye. Looks like Manchester United have been given a free kick on the edge of the box. Don't know where that's come from.
Yeah, I think Garnacho was brought down on the edge of the area. The yellow card is for Al Hassan for the earlier foul on Bruno Fernandes. It's still FCSB 0, Manchester United 2 here. Tottenham 2-0 up against Elfsborg over on Talksport. Rangers 2-1 now against Union Saint-Gilloise. They're into stoppage time. If they were to concede again, Rangers, they would drop out of the top 8. Manchester United are going to finish 3rd, Tottenham 4th. All 3 British teams through to the round of 16, barring any late drama. And if Bodo Glimt were to get a late winner in Nice, that would also knock Rangers out of the top 8. So it looks like Philippe Clement's side facing the most jeopardy into stoppage time. No jeopardy for United here, and an opportunity for Fernandes or Ahmad from the free kick. Fernandes into the wall, trying to curl it right-footed, blocked on the edge of the area. Fernandes heads the ball, keeps it in play. Ahmad can't do likewise. It's a goal kick for FCSB. That corner has been belatedly indicated by the assist on that far side. Must have seen a nick off one of the home defenders.
Yeah, I'm glad that Bruno Fernandes took the responsibility of that free kick, because we saw in the first half he let Martinez take it and went sailing over. It wasn't the greatest of free kicks. I actually thought that was a foul on Bruno Fernandes as well, but now Manchester United have got the corner.
Fernandes will take it from the right-hand side. They lead by 2 goals to 0 in Romania. This might be the last opportunity to put the icing on the cake by way of a third. Fernandes towards Casemiro, so dangerous in the air, and that's a chance. 6 yards out, heads it over.
To be fair to Casemiro, he does quite well to get on the end of that, because it was a bit of an under-hit corner and he was past the front. You could see he was quite frustrated because he connected with it quite well. But I like the fact that Manchester United are pushing on, not trying to keep the ball in the corner. I know they're 2-0 up with a minute and a half to go, but they're still trying to push on.
You're listening to the Europa League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, we've got a van. And Ruben Amorim's plan has worked to perfection tonight. Manchester United slow to get going in the first half, despite dominating possession. But those changes he made at the interval, Garnacho and Ahmad off the bench, made a real difference to the attack. And second half goals from Dalot and from Kobbie Mainoo, his first since scoring the winner at Wembley against Manchester City in the FA Cup final in May, cementing United's place in the round of 16. No need for that two-legged playoff tie as Lenny Yoro wins the ball back down by his own corner flag. We've got seconds remaining now. Here's Bruno Fernandes, forward to Joshua Zirkzee, room to turn, the big Dutchman, and then Kobbie Mainoo into Fernandes, and they're going to get one more chance here to come forward. United. Ahmad 4 yards outside the box into Zirkzee, gives it back to Ahmad. Great move this from United. Ahmad trying to cut the cross back, it's cleared, and then Bruno Fernandes theatrically hurls himself to the ground. He's trying to claim an elbow inside the area. It was nothing of the sort. The referee uninterested, and Fernandes stays down as Manchester United continue to attack with Mainoo into Alejandro Garnacho. A yard or so inside the penalty area, shoots right-footed, deflected behind for a corner. And I think there'll just be enough time to take it, Leanne Sanderson.
Great play again from Kobbie Mainoo on the edge of the box. It was nice with Josh Zirkzee as well. He was so unselfish in those areas. I think the number 9, you'd like them to just kind of take responsibility on to get a shot off, but it was really good play from Zirkzee and Ahmad in those areas. You see Bruno Fernandes does go down very theatrically, and it's never a penalty.
Last action of the game. FCSB 0, Manchester United 2. Amad Diallo with a corner. Hands on hips from the left-hand side. So it's going to be an outswinging delivery by the Ivorian. Not a bad one, and De Ligt meets it and heads it wide. They've had chances to win more handsomely.
Yeah, De Ligt should do better there. It's a free header. He does well. Really good ball in from Ahmad, and I think De Ligt has to do better there.
We've now played 5 added minutes at the end of the 90. He's not ready to call time just yet. Not before this goal kick is launched forward by FCSB. But there is the full-time whistle. Job done for Manchester United. They've come to the home of Dracula, but there was no horror show. Second half goals from Dalot and from Mainoo, his first in scoring at Wembley against Manchester City in May, have given United the victory they needed to guarantee a place in the round of 16. There will be no two-legged playoff for Ruben Amorim to navigate, and after a laboured first half, I think he'll be really happy, the United manager, with what he saw after making those changes. Garnacho and Ahmad both off the bench, both made an impact in the second 45, and for the first time this season, Manchester United have 3 successive victories. They won away from home by 2-0 to preserve their unbeaten European record. And what we've seen tonight, Leanne, have got to be taken seriously once the knockout stages begin.
I think so, and you look at it based upon the fact that there's been different team players. You see another fan running on the pitch there trying to get to Casemiro. But I think it was a really professional performance for Manchester United. I think overall, these moments are difficult, these teams are difficult to break down at times, and I think the difference was the substitutions at half-time. You asked me, Crookie, at half-time if I thought he was going to make them. I said he's not shy of making substitutions, but I didn't expect them to be at half-time. He did what was actually asked, Ruben Amorim, and then, Manchester United got the result.
Tottenham have won by 3-0. Mikey Moore deep in stoppage time, setting the seal on a Tottenham victory in that game. So they will be joining Manchester United in the last 16. And they are awaiting the full-time whistle at Ibrox. It's Rangers 2, Union Saint-Galois 1. It's finished in the key game for Rangers between Nice and Bodo Glimt. A 1-1 draw there, so unless they consider an equaliser, Rangers are through as well. Time now to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
So job done for United. Leanne Sanderson, which of their players stood out for you?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because I could give it to Alejandro Garnacho. I thought he was the impact player, but I think overall Kobbie Mainoo, over the 90 minutes, I thought he was excellent. Got the goal that he deserved as well. So I'm going to go with Kobbie Mainoo.
There you go. Kobbie Mainoo is our man of the match. And that's all thanks to Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
It's all over in Glasgow. Rangers have beaten Union Saint-Gilloise by 2-1, so they seal the final automatic spot in the round of 16. They finished 8th in the league phase, Tottenham 4th after that 3-0 win against Elfsborg, live on Talksport, and Manchester United 3rd behind Athletic Bilbao and Lazio, who topped the table. Manchester United 2-0 winners away from home against FCSB. My thanks to Leanne Sanderson for her company this evening. Up next here on Talksport 2, the live sport continues as we head to California for the PGA AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am.